Hello everybody and welcome to the 12th round of the 2004 Formula 1 season. We are here at Circuit Gilles Villeneuve for the first of two races in the North American leg, 70 laps ahead of the drivers this race weekend, and I am joined by Jose Medrano.
Hello everyone, doing a little bit better, so let's get the show on the road.
Going into this race, currently Raikkonen leads the standings. I don't know how he's managing to do it, but after 11 rounds, he is 8 points in the lead of the Drivers' Championship. He has not yet won a race this season, and yet he is somehow staying ahead of the rest of the field. Giorgio Pantano in second place in the standings. He's in the Renault, of course. Jarno Trulli won last time out in Hungary, but due to unforeseen circumstances, he is sitting out at least the next two races, so that is going to put a massive dent in his championship challenge. Fernando Alonso there in fourth. David Coulthard, also out of contention for this race weekend, and a couple more following as well, as Michael Schumacher, Montoya, Barrichello and Jacques Villeneuve complete the top nine. Further back as well, we saw a first podium of the season for Nicolas Manassian, and as such he's now up to 12th place in the standings, 4 points behind his teammate Ralph Furman, as 24 drivers have now scored points this season. In the Constructors' Championship, due to a good solid race from Renault, I believe, it was Renault that I believe gained on McLaren, I believe. Can't actually remember now, but either way, Renault and McLaren separated by a singular point. Meanwhile, a great race actually for Ferrari last time out in Hungary means that they are just 14 points off the summit of the table. Williams in fourth there, followed by BAR, Toyota, Dams, Jaguar, Red Bull, and then on the second page, Opel, Brabham and Honda. Practice would suggest that Renault are on decent form, although the times are very tight in between all of the drivers up and down the grid. Alonso, Raikkonen and Fisichella surprisingly topping the timing sheets in practice. Nicolas Manassian in fourth there, with Robert Kubica again, as he did in Austria. Fantastic result from him in practice, setting a purple final sector, I believe, as well of the whole session, and actually outpacing the likes of Michael Schumacher. and Enrico Torricello also doing well there in the Ferrari. Jacques Villeneuve makes his debut today for Williams, as he replaces the outgoing Marc Genet, who was underperforming at the British outfit. Rubens Barrichello down there in 10th place. Tom Coronel replacing the injured David Coulthard. More information on that as we head into qualifying. Montoya down the order as well. Jenson Button is also out of contention following a crash that happened in practice. He is 28th in the timing sheets, and as such Björn Verdheim will take his place alongside Cristiano De Mata. So it's looking like a fairly unconventional top nine, it has to be said. So I'm wondering, do you think there's going to be an interesting maybe podium sitter or race winner today, Jose?
Well, perhaps. I mean, the gap between Fernando and Raikkonen is quite close, so we're definitely going to see a good fight for the lead there. But then again, we have Nicolas Manassian in that damn slow lap panel doing a fantastic job again for the French team. Surprisingly though, Fisichella in P3, he's back on form apparently. Really nice to see from the Toyota driver. But really looking forward as well for Enrico Torricello's race in that Ferrari. It is the perfect chance for him to show off and show everyone what he's capable of. Perhaps even a seat in 2006 or maybe even 2007 with some luck. Depends on everything that could happen, and obviously Jacques Villeneuve is going to deliver an absolute banger of a race on that Williams.
And of course, before we head into the race, we have got a 1 hour qualifying session. So without further ado then, we'll get this one underway. A supposed 40% chance of rain going into this session, so this could be quite interesting. Hello Horizon, FF, Benny, Keo and Jake. Welcome in everybody. Hope everyone is having a good, or has had a good week out there in chat. So yeah, the transfers going into this race. So if you don't know, Jarno Trulli had a suspension failure across the line, but taking victory taking victory in... Oh my god, I've still got my wheel turned on. Hang on
Sorry.
1 second. I've just seen my wheel flick around. Okay, there we go. So, transfers. Jarno Trulli took victory in Hungary, but with a suspension failure across the line, he was actually collected in a pretty hefty incident with David Coulthard post-race. So both of those drivers are out of contention. Enrico Toccacello makes his debut for Ferrari as an Italian. Got to be the dream move. I doubt he's going to rise to the occasion like certain Giancarlo Baghetti did back in 1967, where 1961 was it? I think. I
think so, yeah.
I think it was 61, not 67. Yeah. So yeah, he's on debut for Ferrari today, and I don't expect him to be lighting the timing sheets, but maybe some consistent results could possibly keep Ferrari in that Constructors' Championship fight. Of course, 14 points now off the championship lead after a fantastic result.
We're getting reports from Keo and
thank you.
FF that the music is still there.
Thank you. I've turned it off now. As we now watch Riccardo Zonta begin his first lap in the qualifying session. So Toccacello has got a massive weight on his shoulders. Hopefully he can rise to that occasion. Marc Genet, meanwhile, of course, Alexander Wirtz having his big crash back in France means that he's pretty much been out of contention for the whole season. And as such, Marc Genet was in his place, the test and reserve driver. He's now fallen back into that role after underperforming, I should say, in that second Williams seat alongside Juan Pablo Montoya. And as such, Jacques Villeneuve has now taken his role at his home Grand Prix, no less, as well, the Canadian Grand Prix for Jacques Villeneuve. So he makes his return to Formula One as of a couple of races ago. He was at Toyota filling in for Giancarlo Fisichella. I believe the last race he did was at the Spanish Grand Prix. Further down the order, Björn Verdheim replaces Jenson Button for a singular race after Jenson Button had a fairly hefty smack into the barriers after a brake failure. Coming out the pits actually sent him airborne into the wall at turn 2. A big crash, but he should be okay to drive in the next race in the United States, the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. Of course, I said David Coulthard also got injured in that crash with Jarno Trulli, and as such, test and reserve driver Tom Coronel will pair Scott Dixon in a quite interesting lineup at BAR as Riccardo Zonta is on pole position of one driver that has set a lap time so far with a 1:19.9. Giancarlo Fisichella, though, making his way now down this casino straight and looking to potentially take himself to the top of the timing sheets, although his compatriot Giorgio Pantano half a second faster.
Well, let's see what the substitute drivers can do today. My eyes are especially fixed in Toccacello. The Italian driver was doing quite decently in GP2 with the Colonia outfit. So really looking for what Enrico can do today. Italian team, Italian driver, the absolute dream, as we have Raikkonen out of the pits and out of everything.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that was a suspension failure there for Kimi Raikkonen, which is going to also, as soon as the qualifying session has started for him, he's going to need the spare car, which is not going to be a pleasant surprise for the McLaren pit crew. Welcome in Nils as well, and David Benson. Hope you two are doing well. Villeneuve is not finishing. Yeah, as soon as Raikkonen's come out the pits, and he's got a suspension failure, which is not good, of course, if you are wanting to set pole position. Of course, with Kimi Raikkonen being the championship leader, he still needs to be getting those crucial results, even with Jarno Trulli possibly out of the championship picture now. And of course, with the likes of Verdheim, Toccacello, Coronel, Villeneuve all coming in here for the first race at their respective teams this season, could this potentially mean that obviously they're going to be quite rusty and expect those to be further behind where their usual full-time counterparts would be? We could see maybe a bit of a mixed up grid here, maybe a mixed up result as well, as those teams that have of course got their full-time drivers could potentially take results that otherwise would not be available to them. One being of course on board with Rose Toyota, one of only 3 teams so far this season to not score points, alongside Boots and Asia Tech, and of course Minardi Cosworth. That team has not yet scored a single start this season, after failing to qualify in all 11 events so far this season. Justin Wilson on a... Sorry, go on.
No, just go on.
Justin Wilson currently on a 23.8 in the first sector, so he seems quite a fair bit down on Giorgio Pantano through that first part of the lap, as he is on Ralf Schumacher and Pedro de la Rosa. Schumacher in particular 4/10 off through the first 2 sectors, as Wilson makes his way up to the line, outpaces Björn Verdheim and Takuma Sato for now. We'll see though what Sato's teammate Ralf Schumacher can do as he makes his way towards the final chicane. Pantano purple in all of 3 sectors so far this session. Surprisingly to see though, Riccardo Zonta has outpaced Giancarlo Fisichella in the first run in qualifying. We'll see though if Ralf Schumacher can knock him off the perch of the front row. He does. He goes to second place with a 1 minute 19.6. Pedro de la Rosa to come across the line in a few moments, and he actually sets the purple last sector faster than Pantano as he goes up ahead of Ralph by 0.3 of a second. Following Joel Baumgartner's crash in Hungary as well, Gary Pavitt has been given 1 extra race, but the MOL Oil Company is expected to pull their funding at the end of this race weekend, so this could be disaster potentially for Minardi, especially since they've got that upgrade package coming in a few rounds' time for Belgium.
That upgrade package could well and truly be Minardi's Hail Mary move, since not a single qualifying result yet. They're yet to participate on a race. And with Fountain pointed out from MOL, this could really be the end of the Italian team.
A fantastic lap there from Nick Heidfeld sends him up to second place, just a 10th away from Giorgio Pantano and the purple final sector there. So, seemingly, Brabham have got some pace in that last sector, which is basically one big straight. So maybe the Brabham Mercedes crew have found something in that car that other teams have not been able to in the practice session. Rubens Barrichello as well, making his way towards the final chicane. We'll see what he can do in that Ferrari. Of course, should be taking the reins as the team leader while Jarno Trulli is away, but his awful form as of late would potentially presume that he could have some trouble beating Enrico Torricello this weekend. Of course, not as fast as him in practice. He was about 3 or 4 tenths off him in that regard, so we'll see if that form will continue for Enrico Torricello. Of course, he would love a dream debut in such where he beats Barrichello this weekend. Barrichello in particular right now is in 6th place as he's just completed his first qualifying lap.
I think all eyes, apart from Torricello, are also set on, where is he? On Wilhelm, not Wilhelm, where was the other one? God damn it, I lost him. Never mind then.
Villeneuve?
Yeah, Villeneuve, thank you. All eyes are set on the Canadian. He already did a fantastic half season there with Toyota, scoring points in I think every race. The Canadian now in a much more powerful car than the Toyota, now being the Williams, having a sensational chance for continuing that point streak. Perhaps even a podium result could be on the table.
We will see though, as of course he did manage to beat his teammate Ricardo Sperrifico more often than not, but Juan Pablo Montoya, while he is also South American, should be a much more tough opponent for the Canadian world champion to beat, as we are now on board with Enrico Torricello. We'll follow him on this whole lap as he now begins his first qualifying lap of his Formula 1 career, so we'll see how this one fares. In towards turn 1, a fairly short run, a bit of a kink there before you even reach the braking zone into first gear there, about 100 kilometers an hour, and then a long right-hander. Could take this in second if you want optimal grip out the corner, but of course with traction control you should be able to just run it in first gear. Then the first of several chicanes, turns 3 and 4, makes his way through there quite nicely, and then the long right of turn 5. should be flat in these modern Formula 1 cars, of course. Then another chicane in the form of turns 6 and 7. Make sure not to go so wide that you hit the Honda barrier there. We have seen multiple times in multiple races in the past, drivers going too wide through there and losing their rear wings. 8 and 9 then, similar situation, but the other way around, with it being a right-hander to begin with rather than a left. And then the most impressive corner on this circuit, heavy braking zone into a very sharp hairpin. We expect to see a lot of braking opportunities up the inside for overtakes, so we'll see how that one pans out for the 70 laps we've got here today. And then the long straight in towards the final chicane seems to be opened up for this season, as now Toccocello makes his way into this last bit. Second gear, 125 kilometers an hour. Make sure not to hit the wall on the outside that has been dubbed the wall of champions from how many drivers of caliber have crashed into that in the past. And Toccocello up towards the line, second place, a decent lap, as he's just a tenth away from provisional pole sitter and compatriot Giorgio Pantano.
Really impressive lap by the rookie here, by Enrico Toccocello. Fantastic so far for the new kid on the block. Even if it's just for 1 or 2 races, still really impressive by Toccocello. This could open up some probably some moves for the next years if he keeps up this pace. Really nice to see. Impressive as well for Heidfeld. Look at that. He's P3 at the moment. And in top speed, he's quicker than the Ferrari and the Renault.
Patrick Friesacker has just gone behind Ricardo Zonta to go 11th fastest. And I've got to say, in recent rounds, Boutsen have been impressing me with their lap pace, or at least their qualifying pace. Their race pace has been left something to be desired from the team, similar to what Opel were suffering earlier on in the season. But it's good to see that Boutsen are now consistently getting out of the bottom 4 in qualifying. So we could be seeing potentially Patrick Friesacker and Ricardo Zonta, of course. Friesacker in particular is moving to Dams next season, which could be his make or break season in Formula 1. Of course, driving for Sauber in 2003, Boutsen in 2004, and making the move to Dams in 2005. He's already making a name for himself as a bit of a Germany man, but we'll see if he can have a long-term stay at the French outfit. Tom Coronel then, another driver who is filling in for a main driver, of course. David Coulthard out following the Hungarian Grand Prix, and as such, Coronel, the test and reserve driver for BAR Audi and the former Audi driver of 2003 alongside Dan Weldon, takes his place. Of course, Coronel very experienced in other disciplines of motor racing, and we'll see if this converts to him in a decently upper midfield car in Formula 1, of course. Up towards the line, and it's 6th place for him as De La Rosa has run into trouble with his car. Not exactly sure what's happened to him. Where is he? I don't know what's just happened to him. But Fernando Alonso is actually making his way around the final couple of corners. Can't actually reach him on the timing sheet. But he will go to pole position by 1.7 seconds. An absolutely gargantuan margin between him and the rest of the field there. We'll get a look on what happened to his countrymen. So, coming out the pits, seems all fine.
I was going to say same situation as Raikkonen, but no, he does actually manage to get out of the pit lane. Even if a little bit.
And then through the first sector. Suspensions. Oh no, it's the engine that's gone.
Engine.
So he's going to have to concur a 5-place grid penalty for that one. A bit of a shame for Pedro de la Rosa, as the Montreal street circuit was looking fairly decent for the Opel squad. But looks like his session and weekend has already been tampered with following that engine failure. Bit of a shame for him, of course. and we see Nicholas Manassian. Not sure if he's actually on a lap or not, but we'll stay on board for him for the rest of this lap. He is on a lap, 23.3 through the first sector, 26.3 through the second sector, and he is faster than Scott Dixon through the first part of that lap. The Frenchman, who scored a second place last time out in Hungary, will go to 16th place. Not a great lap, actually. Maybe a bit of a warm-up lap more than anything for Manassian, as he sets a 19.9. Scott Dixon will follow him in about 20 seconds time, as the New Zealander still getting to grips with that car, still yet to score points, although he was lucky not to do so last race after retiring from 5th place. Thank you, Jeffrey. Out of the final corner then for Scott Dixon, and he will set a lap time good enough for 17th position, a couple tenths slower than what Manassian has just been done. It's just done. Need a new pen because
Really
that was
unfortunate
just broken.
for Manassian, but surely a warm-up lap as he's just improving now. Let's see what the French driver can do. It's still appears to be 1 second behind the pole time, but honestly, that lap of the gods from Fernando, 1.7 seconds ahead of Giorgio Pantano. That is impressive for a first lap.
To be fair, it could be the case that a lot of drivers are just trying to get a gauge of the new track conditions, of course. First time out there on circuit today. As Gallifreyan, welcome in. Hope that your day has gone well. And Nicholas Manassian, who was a 10th up through the first two sectors, will go up to 10th position, despite only improving by 0.2 of a second. So very tight margins there in that midfield, as they're Justin Wilson just rejoining out on circuit just behind Manassian. Raikkonen, though, purple through the middle sector. So the Finn that currently leads the championship for McLaren could be looking at a potential pole position lap here with 15 minutes gone in the session. We'll see how he fares, though, through this final chicane. Make sure not to brake too late or too early. Brake just right, and then through the chicane. Nice sweeping corners there, and up towards the line for the young Finn, and it's a time of a 16.9, which is a tenth of a second faster than Fernando Alonso. I just want to pull up the other news reports 1 second, because we do have other news reports. There we go. So yeah, we've got some upgrades as well going into this race weekend. Honda fetch an engine power upgrade as Ferrari reduce their weight. Renault also have an engine power upgrade as BAR, Toyota and Red Bull all have new aero packages. BAR with a rear wing drag reduction package, Toyota with rear wing downforce, and Red Bull with front wing drag reduction. So quite a number of teams here today with upgrades, as Raikkonen has gone for a second consecutive lap, a 22.2 through that first sector, which I believe is about a tenth of a second faster than what has been just done on that last lap. Furman has gone third, 1.5 seconds off the pace. Who are Verdheim and Tocciello? So Björn Verdheim in real life was the Jaguar test driver in 04. He is in this career mode as well. Jenson Button in practice had a brake failure, crashed at turn 2 and is sitting out the Canadian Grand Prix. So Björn Verdheim taking his seat for now. He also took part in the 03 season for Minardi. To varying levels of success. No points, but he was a decently consistent driver. Pantano across the line. He improves by over a second, but it's not enough to go anywhere close to pole. 4 tenths away as it currently stands. Gary Paffett's also out there right now, and I'm certain his last name is Paffett this time round. Raikkonen, though, on a third lap in a row, and he's half a tenth up. Enrico Tocciello as well, driving for Ferrari on his debut after Jarno Trulli had a massive collision with David Coulthard after the race at the Hungarian Grand Prix, means that both of those drivers are out. So Tocciello out. Tocciello in the car for his debut for Ferrari, as Justin Wilson, a massive improvement there to go 5th fastest. So maybe we are starting to see the times all of a sudden drop from a lot of these drivers. Yeah, so in real life, Tocciello at this point was in Formula 3000. Verdheim had already gone through that part of his career, I believe. I believe he's already gone through that. Hello, Sampas, as well. Obviously saw that your Silverstone race went well, I believe. What's up, Horizon? Raikkonen has just decided to pit there. Oh yeah, Jacques Villeneuve's also back in the car as well, so... Oh, I'm assuming you're talking about Justin Wilson, aren't you? Of course, yeah. Takuma Sato now out there on circuit. He is slower than Thiago Monteiro, which is slightly worrying for him. Oh no, he's not been out there on circuit, don't mind me then. I just completely forgot that Sato was of course in the number 2 car, because Ralf Schumacher won the championship last season and moved to Honda. Right, let's see what Gary Paffett's capable of doing then, if he's able to get past his teammate Thiago Monteiro in this session, or like in practice, Monteiro actually outpaced his... Oh,
accident for Montoya.
Montoya has lost his front wing, so we'll get a check on that one. He is currently in 28th place. He was out there on circuit for the first time and he's come to a stop in the first sector. So what has happened to the Colombian Maestro? Let's have a look, see. Hello, Alio. Welcome into the stream. Hope that your week's going well. It's a brake failure for Juan Pablo Montoya. The Williams driver, unable to stop the car, loses his front wing at the first chicane. And unfortunately for him, he is going to need to get into the spare car for that one.
That was a slightly close call with De La Rosa as well.
He was indeed. Any more drivers out there on circuit? Patrick Friesacker has gone to 6th fastest, so the times are certainly starting to drop out here in this qualifying session. 20 minutes in, and we've still got 40 minutes to go in this session, and De La Rosa improving by 7/10 of a second. As it currently stands, would improve to the top 5, but if he finds a bit more time, could potentially be challenging Furman for the front 2 rows, so we'll see if he's capable of doing. Yeah, I imagine Jacques Villeneuve was pretty expensive to fetch to the Williams team, but hopefully he can repay that with good results, of course. Williams in that constructors' battle with Toyota and BAR right now, and it looks like 4th is pretty much all that they're going to get, as Ferrari, the team in 3rd, are quite a way up the road. It seems that it's a 3-way fight for the constructors and a 3-way fight for 4th. It's going good. How am I doing? I am doing fairly well, thanks for asking. Takuma Sato, a 2.5 down through the first 2 sectors then, as De La Rosa improving by 3/10 through that first part of the lap. And we'll see what top speed Sato is capable of doing. Hello Alex, welcome in. Reaching 312 kilometers an hour before getting onto the brakes. So fairly decent speed there, carried through the chicane and up towards the line. It'll be a 1:19.3, and it sends him into the top 10. So a decent lap from him as he goes ahead of his teammate, Ralf Schumacher. Pedro de la Rosa then in 4th place right now, as I predicted. He's ahead of Furman by 13 thousandths right now, but still looking for an improvement. Not doing so through the second part of the lap, but we'll see how he fares up towards the line then. An 18.2, an ever so slight improvement there as he moves further ahead of the Irishman in the dams. Big news at Boutsen. Boutsen has finished his wine. Epic stuff.
Well, I'm not too surprised that the team is doing well. Apparently they feed the cars the wine that the owner consumes as well.
That's good. Timo Glock then in the other Opel on his installation lap, or his first push lap in the qualifying session. Probably not going to be as fast as his teammate, and it is not. He goes 23rd place. With the struggles that Jaguar have had on the straights in previous rounds, including tracks such as... I can't think of any tracks in particular, but Montreal, of course, has a lot of straights, and with the Cosworth engine being quite underpowered, it could possibly mean that we see a Jaguar knocked out today, especially with the improvements in the Boutsen car in recent rounds. It could not be an absolute that both cars get through, and of course, Björn Verdheim kind of just thrown into the car this weekend could potentially be under threat of being in the bottom 4 today, as Tom Coronel makes his way through the last corner. He's currently in 14th place in that BAR, following Pedro de la Rosa, who improves again by 0.4 of a second. Coronel further 0.2 behind, and he jumps ahead of Felipe Massa and into 5th. So ever dynamic changing in the table right now, as in, where's Antonio Pizzoni? He's in 19th right now, and he's making his way to the final chicane. Mr. Banksy and and Alio. Yep, he said it all in 3 words there. I was like, who's out 11? And then it said the all on the line above. Thank you, Alio, for subscribing. Enrico Toccacello. Oh, he could be a driver to look at, as Pizzoni has improved to 8th place. So yeah, like I say, we've got a lot of drivers, I think, that are massively improving. Michael Schumacher is still not out on track, alongside both Williams. Well, Montoya's been out there and had a brake failure, but Villeneuve has also not been out on circuit. So we'll see if he will go out there on circuit, of course, replacing the underperforming Marc Genet, as he replaced the injured Alexander Wurz. Toccacello to the line, and he is 4th place, just behind Giorgio Pantano. And I've got to say, Toccacello proving like he's been in this seat the whole season so far in this qualifying session.
Yeah, Toccacello seems quite at home with the Ferrari, so definitely look out for him.
Sperrifico then in the Toyota is looking for time. He's in 14th place right now. His teammate Fisichella much further down the road, but he is also out there on circuit right now. 9/10 away from pole position for Sperrifico means that he goes to 6th. His teammate Giancarlo Fisichella, though, seemingly on good form now. 2 points finishes in the previous 2 rounds, and we'll see if he can make it 3 in a row here at Circuit Gilles Villeneuve. Then rounding the final corner. I read a Gallifreyan's message while talking there, and he goes towards the line, 9th place, so not as fast as Sperrifico, surprisingly. So Sperrifico, the Brazilian, getting the advantage ahead of his Italian teammate. Mark Webber is down in 20th place, and the Red Bull Lamborghini will make his way up towards the line, and he will slot in just ahead of his teammate with an 18.0. He's ahead of his teammate by just under a 1/10 of a second. Zonta is now out there. He's slidden all the way down to 21st place. Of course, he was the first one to actually set a lap time in this session, but after a good chunk of drivers actually set their first laps, he was as high as 2nd. So there's definitely some pace in that Boutsen. How much Zonta can unlock out of it is uncertain, though, as Friesaka currently in 14th place right now. But you've got to say the drivers that he's currently in and amongst could suggest that the Boutsen is not actually all too strong around this circuit. We'll see how it performs towards the end of this qualifying session, as we are nearly halfway through. And up towards the line for Zonta, it is 14th place, so just ahead of his teammate Patrick Friesaka. These two matching each other stride for stride, as Zonta was fetched in a couple of rounds ago to replace the underperforming Shinji Nakano. Cristiano D'Amata then starting his lap. He's down in 24th, his teammate 1 further place behind, and those two are only ahead of the 2 Minardis. So this could be dire straits for the Jaguar. Potential that both Jaguars could get knocked out here, and if that's the case, then it could be an absolute devastation. So we'll see if they can actually kind of pull their finger out and get some good lap times on the board, as Cristiano D'Amata now makes his way through into the 2nd sector.
Meanwhile, Michael Schumacher and Montoya have no lap time yet, as Villeneuve is out of track now. Do you reckon we could have another situation like Spain, where Schumacher didn't go out until the last minute?
There could be a potential of that, as Michael Schumacher has been known for leaving it late in terms of his qualifying laps, but the team have claimed in the past that the McLaren has often had quite a few technical problems at the start of qualifying, so we'll see. We'll see if this is the same once again. Of course, Jacques Villeneuve out on circuit at his home circuit, but Cristiano D'Amata will now make his way towards the final chicane, and we'll see how he compares to his rivals up towards the line. And he goes to 19th place. That is not a good lap from Cristiano D'Amata, and I've got to say the Brazilian should be worried about that lap because, of course, the bottom 4 get knocked out here for the Grand Prix. So we have 30 qualifiers, top 26 go through. And at the moment, I am not certain at all that that would be enough to get him through. You're surprised that DeMatta still has... Gallifreyan says, not surprised that DeMatta still has a seat. He has been on the chopping blocks potentially at Jaguar. Of course, he has failed to qualify twice in the past this season, but his good performances at BAR certainly helped him in keeping that seat for a long time. Jacques Villeneuve then, 23.0 through the first sector. Certainly doesn't seem all too competitive, as Benoit Trellier in the Rose Toyota has gone 2.5 tenths faster. So we'll see if the Canadian can muster any form of a good lap, or whether this will kind of be a throwaway one for him.
Well, so far, all I can say is the only real thing I can say right now is that big danger for Jordan, damn it, as for Jaguar, but also really impressive by Tocacello. Do you reckon that Barrichello could end up without a seat if he fails to beat his temporary teammate?
There could be an opportunity of that, especially if Barrichello has his contract until the end of 2005, but we know that Ferrari will make the choice to make a driver change if necessary, and of course it's Ferrari, so they've definitely got quite big pockets to pay him out of his contract if needs be. Of course, Barrichello has a race win this season, but other than that, he's been fairly under the radar in terms of his results, so we'll have to see how Ferrari play this one. Of course, Barrichello has been the more consistent, I would say, of the two between him and Jarno Trulli, but I'd say Trulli's inconsistencies, rather than his actual driving, is down to his car more than anything else. I feel like Barrichello's been given the better of the two cars, and yet is still not really performing in it. You look at results like Germany, for example, where he was down in 9th place until the very last corner, pretty much, and overtook Pedro de la Rosa for the final points place, while his teammate was fighting for the win more than 2 laps in front. So it's definitely something that Ferrari's going to need to be looking at going into the next couple of rounds, as Jacques Villeneuve, of course, not with a brilliant lap on his first run out. Montoya is now out there once more, and he's 5 tenths down through the first 2 sectors, as we have now reached halfway through this qualifying session. Trulli's contract does indeed expire at the end of this season, so if Barrichello gets sacked and potentially Trulli gets snapped up by another team, of course Trulli has not been yet confirmed. We're in August 2004 in this timeline. Trulli's not yet been confirmed to be going anywhere for next season, so if Ferrari don't act quick, then there could be a potential that Ferrari could be searching for drivers much lower than where their previous threshold of drivers have been in terms of skill.
I'd say that depending on today's results, their best option could be Enrico Tocacello. He's doing decently enough in GP2, and he's doing surprisingly okay today. I mean, just look at him P6 at the moment. That's actually quite good for a rookie. So if there's no deal with Barrichello, I could definitely see Tocacello maybe 2006 for the next year, but definitely Tocacello Ferrari the certain time margin, maybe next year to 2 years from now.
Yeah, definitely could be a case where we could see an actual all-Italian lineup once more at Ferrari. Of course, the last time we saw that was 2002, where Giancarlo Fisichella and Jarno Trulli drove that car to, I believe, 3rd in the Constructors or something like that. I can't actually remember. So yeah, it could be a bit of a dire straight situation for Ferrari. Montoya has gone to 9th, but Montero has fallen into trouble with his car. So we'll take a check on what that is when this driver makes his way into the pits. Oh no, that's someone exiting the pits. Right, let's see what happened then with Montero in the Minardi. The engine's going.
As if it didn't have enough for being underpowered, now it explodes.
Yeah, so there is Montero's engine exploding here in the qualifying session. That's going to award him a 5-place grid penalty alongside Pedro de la Rosa. I doubt it's going to do much though, considering he's more than 8 seconds off the pace and as such probably isn't going to qualify either way, so massive shame for him. Let me actually...
Nothing yet from Michael. He really is dragging it out.
And Raikkonen across the line, 4/10 slower than his provisional best, so he stays on pole position by just over 1/10 of a second. Tom Coronel in 8th place as of right now, and in the lead BAR with his teammate Scott Dixon on his installation lap down 26th. So it's quite a shaken up grid, I do have to say. Because currently we've got a McLaren, 2 Minardis and a Jaguar in the bottom 4, which I'm assuming will not stay the same. Coronel fails to improve, as Manassian, who's currently in 25th place right now, should be able to find the time to at least get somewhere around his teammate, who's up in 14th. And across the line, he goes to 9th place, just ahead of Montoya, just behind Tom Coronel. So Manassian, I think, is also going for another lap, as is Kimi Raikkonen, not improving though through either of the first 2 sectors. He might just be wasting laps doing this sort of strategy and kind of might need to just go for a 1 lap, one and done if he wants to really seal himself as the man on pole position today. Raikkonen then exiting the final corner, and what will the Finn be capable of doing up towards the line? It's a 17.1, which is again not enough to improve.
We see Ralf Schumacher in P24 with the Honda. Let's see if he can improve out of danger, which he does look like he is doing. But also in a very dangerous position. Still Michael Schumacher with no lap time. But also Rubens Barrichello in P25.
Yep, Barrichello under pressure, Schumacher, or both Schumachers I should say, under pressure of potentially being knocked out. Other drivers such as Villeneuve, De Matter and Verdheim are also down there. Dixon as well. A lot of big names at the bottom of the pile right now, and they need to find the lap time to push themselves further up the order. Schumacher across the line, only 18th. Only 18th for Ralf Schumacher. He's only 1.4 seconds off the pace. So as we thought, like in practice, the grid spread is essentially nothing compared to what it has been in previous rounds. Because when you look at the time that Ralf Schumacher has set, he improves by 2/10, and he's up with Benoit Trallier, Giancarlo Fisichella on the fringes of the top 10. So really fine margins right now. Speaking of improving by 2/10, Furman in that 2/10 margin ahead of Ralf Schumacher right now, and he is improving by 5/10, just 3/10 down on Raikkonen through the first 2 sectors. The Dams, of course, has been stellar in qualifying in recent rounds, has been at the scene of their first ever podium in Formula 1 last time out at the Hungarian Grand Prix, courtesy of Nicolas Manassian. Of course, he knows a thing or two about getting good results in underperforming machinery. Just look at 2001 Portugal. Up towards the line then for Furman, and it's 5th place for him. He goes ahead of De La Rosa and behind Enrico Torricello. Manassian enters the pits, so he is not setting a lap. Cristiano De Matter also out there. Dixon also now starting his lap as Michael Schumacher has exited the pit lane, so we'll see what he's capable of doing in this first run in qualifying as well.
Still quite worried about Michael Schumacher. 24 minutes to go and he's still not out. That is, he still has plenty of time, but
he is out there.
He's there.
Yeah.
You know, I'm blind, honestly. Well, he's finally out on track. Let's see if Michael Schumacher can pull himself away from danger and even sink Barrichello deeper into the pit.
FF believes if Barrichello would be immediately fired if he fails to qualify. I've got to agree with that. I feel like if he fails to qualify, that would be the final straw that breaks the camel's back down at the Scuderia. And yes, Scott Dixon, currently behind him by 0.8 of a second, but is improving by quite a margin. Michael Schumacher also out there on circuit right now in the McLaren. So we'll see what he's capable of doing in that car. His teammate Kimi Raikkonen on pole position. So it's a McLaren bread with the rest of the grid sandwich. So we'll see how Scott Dixon fares with Coronel up in 9th. Dixon only 17th, albeit a quarter of a second down on his teammates. So, like I say, very fine margins, as Michael Schumacher may have been held up a little bit by Ralph Furman as he set a 22.3 through the first sector.
I will agree with FF there. If Barrichello fails to qualify in that Ferrari, while his teammate, a GP2 driver with little to no experience in Formula 1, currently up into P5, you're in deep mess. Not to say the other word, but you really should improve if you do not put up a decent fight. I would be worried if I were Barrichello.
Michael Schumacher then rounding the final chicane, and I've got to say this has been a pretty decent lap. It should put him somewhere in the region of the top 10, and he goes up towards the line. It's 6th place for him right now on his banker lap, 6/10 away from his teammate Kimi Raikkonen.
Also, I'm just gonna say immediately to Jeff's comment, we are not. I don't think he's going to add any other American Grand Prix, and no way in hell is going to be Vegas.
Björn Wertheim there, and Kimi Raikkonen coming to blows there through the hairpin. Well, I mean, we've already got a rotational calendar between Watkins Glen and Indianapolis. This season it's for Indianapolis, 03 and 05 Watkins Glen, and then for 06 it's going to be decided on where should the mainstay of the United States Grand Prix should be held. I prefer it to be at Watkins Glen due to its history in Formula 1. Not all good, but it's a lot of it is good around that circuit. So I would like to stay at that circuit for 2006, but we'll have to wait and see, of course, if the next round in Indianapolis 2004 would be an absolute banger. Then maybe that could make a bit more of a headache for the FIA for the thingy organisers. I'm not going to Daytona before anyone says it, and I've just read that FF's just said it. God damn it. Anyway, Montoya out of the hairpin then, and he'll make his way down this long casino straight, not improving though through either of the first two sectors. He's down in 12th place right now, albeit his teammates 13 places further back, but has only set one lap so far. Yet Montoya not finding the time that he necessarily needs to go into the top 10. And he doesn't. He's a 10th and a half down overall and stays in 12th position. Massa one place further back, and he's now just starting his lap in the Red Bull Lamborghini. Of course, if you don't know how this series has unfolded, so teams such as Jordan went under in 2001 and were bought out later on that season by Dams. They are now having their chassis manufactured by Lolo with support of Panos. Panos have been bought out of their contract by BMW as Dams become a BMW Works team for next season. That's currently left Williams without an engine supplier for 2005 as of right now. Red Bull are a similar situation. Sauber have been bought out of a 75% stake by Red Bull, so it's technically Red Bull Sauber on the constructors sheet, but we call them the Red Bulls. And yeah, they kept Massa from last season and signed Mark Webber from Minardi. So we'll see how those develop through their short careers so far in Formula 1. Of course, Dams have had quite a bit of success in this season at least. Massa then up towards the line. He's currently on an 18.0, stays on an 18.0, but improves into the top 10 ahead of Coronel now by 0.005 of a second. Montoya doesn't find time to go any higher than 13th, meanwhile, as Glock is also out there on circuit right now.
In the meantime, I just have to say some things about the recommendation of Iowa Speedway by Jake. What is wrong with you? Honestly, mate, even I have better takes than that, and that is a long shot. Come on, dude.
Montero's improving by nearly a whole 2 seconds. This could be a pole position lap for the Portuguese driver. It won't be, but he's making his way now down towards the final chicane. He's absolutely hammering the throttle of that Minardi. He's nearly reaching 290 kilometers an hour. He's just clipped it there as he goes into the final chicane. Absolutely scintillating stuff from the Minardi driver as he makes his way up towards the line. It's going to be a cracking lap, but not quite enough to take him to pole position. It's 30th place for now. Alonso, though, is actually on a pole position lap as he's purple through the first two sectors and up towards the line for Alonso. He takes the top spot ahead of Raikkonen. Raikkonen has completed his laps now to go second place at an absolute best. Alonso then, 16.7. That's for everyone else to beat. Furman in third, Pantano in fourth. They're probably going to be the most likely drivers to beat that lap time. Pantano's actually just been out there as Friesaka has run into problems with his car. Where is Friesaka? He's in the pits. So what has happened to Monsieur Friesaka?
Let's see what happened there to Herr Friesaka. As the Bootsen driver, turn 7. Through here, nothing.
Engine.
Oh, there it is. Engine trouble.
So another engine blown, and he will have a 5-place grid penalty, which, unfortunately for him, will, for now, make him start from 26th place. Of course, we've got a new rule as of the Monaco Grand Prix this season, where if you qualify inside the top 26, grid penalties for things such as engine penalties will not allow you to fall outside of the top 26. Need to check my notes right now to see who's got a grid penalty for this race. Michael Schumacher has a 3-place grid penalty for a collision with Ralph Furman in the Hungarian Grand Prix as well. So he's not going to take pole position either, although after one lap is only 8 tenths off pole. So Kyo, unfortunately, it was voted upon by all the teams, both in F1 and GP2. So, yeah, democracy has ruled that shall be the rule, as Montoya has improved, but not enough to get ahead of Manassian.
In the meantime, I just gotta say, even with the penalty for Friesaka, Barrichello will still be out. If it doesn't go out in the next 16 minutes. I do think we might see Tocacello carrying Ferrari a little bit more in that second seat compared to Barrichello, who should be performing better considering Trulli is out of contention for today. But no, it seems like it's going to be the second Italian again an Italian up in the top 5 for Ferrari. It really does seem like it's just Trulli with Tocacello's helmet.
Certainly does seem so. That number 3 Ferrari has always been so rapid in qualifying so far this season. As Jacques Villeneuve, another driver who is well out of position, he's down in 25th place right now, needs to find a lap time. Alternatively, if Barrichello does get himself out of the bottom 4, it would mean that we also see both Jaguars out, which would also be a huge scalp for them in their season. Of course, Jenson Button earlier this season scoring a podium for them. I believe, though, Jaguar have only scored in one race with both drivers. That being Button in 3rd and D'Amata in 5th at Monaco. What if Tocacello flops in the race? Well, that has got to be decided. That's what we're here to see. The unpredictable world of Formula 1 is what we come and watch for. Zonta believes there is a bit of cloud cover coming over. Of course, at the start of the session, it was suggesting that there was going to be a 40% chance of rain. Well, we're here, 75% of the way through, and we haven't seen an inkling that there's going to be any rain. So we'll see how this one plays out. Of course, still blue skies as they head towards this part of the circuit. And Villeneuve 8 tenths up through the first 2 sectors. This could put him on a lap competitive for about 15th place if he finds no improvement through the last sector, as Barrichello is out on circuit. Cristiano De Mata is also out on circuit. Heidfeld could be in trouble here. Friesacker could be in trouble. Maybe even Zonta, as Wilson has now completed all of his laps, will start no higher than 21st. Villeneuve then will round the final corner, and we'll see if the Canadian 1997 champion can improve outside of the into the top 20. He does improve to 14th place. That Williams seems very mediocre around this circuit, with Montoya only a place higher. Ralf Schumacher is also a driver that could potentially fall under threat if a lot of these drivers behind him find improvements in lap times. Ralf Schumacher will make his way around this final corner and up towards the line. It's only 21st for Ralf Schumacher, and I've got to say, Sato's got the advantage over him. The clouds are beginning to form. Where has this come from? The clouds are...
Oh, hello.
Wow, that's very fast. We were just looking.
Oh, dear me. This could... If it starts raining, this could mean Barrichello is out.
It could mean as well as Manassian has got a gearbox failure, so... Let me write that down. And now let's go and we'll look at Michael Schumacher, who's now closing out his lap in this qualifying session, his second run. And I've got to say, it is looking like it's about to absolutely chuck it down into the braking zone of the final chicane. And Barrichello is improving through that first sector. So let's see what happens then. Schumacher across the line. Bang. 17-0. Goes third fastest. Cannot out-qualify his teammate Raikkonen. But the main focus is on this man right here. And I think there is potential rain.
Yeah,
is there rain?
Predicts rain in 10 minutes for Ralf Schumacher there. It looks dark and Aminati's future here. He is going to pace down in a few minutes. Oh my goodness me, what a qualifier we could have.
And Barrichello needs this. Barrichello needs this so desperately. Up towards the final chicane. 322 kilometers an hour before getting onto the brakes through the final chicane. And Barrichello might have been able to somehow salvage this up towards the line. And he's safe. 7th place. He's safe, but he has been out-qualified by Enrico Toccacello.
That was a huge scare by Barrichello. Definitely not something you want to have. He should really look into it for next race, because that was too awfully close. Imagine if it just started raining now. That's over for him.
Okay, so we have now got both Jaguars in the bottom 4. Verdheim is going out on circuit, but he might have too little time to actually get this one out, because, of course, the rain is imminent, surely, for all these drivers. Verdheim is 28th right now, as Toccacello is completing his lap. Pitsonia also completing his lap. He's up in 21st place, stays there for now. So he's ahead of Ralf Schumacher at the very least, and ahead of his teammate Nick Heidfeld, who has not gone out there on circuit once more. And up towards the line, it's still 6th place for him. I don't think I've seen more of a career-defining lap than this. If Barrichello failed to qualify there, he's almost certainly getting the sack. Gary Paffett then also out there on circuit. Fisichella is down in 16th place as of right now, but is improving through that first part of the lap. 22.6 is what he's set through that first sector. His teammate Riccardo Sbarafico just a couple of tenths up the road and in 9th position. 10 minutes to go then in this session, and Fisichella barely improving through the first 2 sectors. The conditions are certainly lowering the track temperature and possibly lowering the grip for all these drivers out here. Tom Coronel improving as well, as he's in 12th place right now. His teammate Scott Dixon down in 20th, so BAR's also having a fairly awful time of it in qualifying today. Alonso purple through all of the 3 sectors, but our focus is on Giancarlo Fisichella, as Sbarafico's in trouble. Oh dear. Seems like a fairly big crash then for Riccardo Sbarafico. Check it in a second when everyone gets into the pit lane. Yes, there we go. Is it raining? I didn't exactly see that.
I think so. I think it might be, yeah.
Oh, it's a brake failure. Oh, and that's a fairly big crash there into the tyre barrier. He's gone swinging across the circuit. And it's a fairly similar incident to what happened with Jensen Button. Of course, a lot lower speed compared to to Button, but he should be fine from that. It wasn't that big of a crash, maybe about 80 miles an hour into the wall there, with a tie barrier as well. Should be fine with the modern facilities of Formula 1, as there is indeed rain. That's rain.
Yeah, it's raining. Just 2 minutes earlier, and we would have had a Ferrari out in qualifying. That could have been an absolute disaster for the Brazilian and the Italian team itself, as they're still fighting to catch up to the rest. They're still quite far off. So that could have been a major disaster for the Cavallino. But it does seem like with this rain, I don't think we're going to see any improvement. Just look at Parfait and Filming's laps. There's no way in hell anyone improves.
And
Everyone's out on the softs.
Yeah, I think the session's pretty much done and dusted. Furman's 4 seconds down. Parfait is 6 seconds down, nearly 7, as he crosses the line to stay in 29th. And I'm pretty sure Jaguar have had both cars knocked out here. An absolutely huge scalp, as neither of them look confident anywhere close to being in the top 26. Verdheim has stayed in 28th and 3.4 seconds off. D'Amata is 5 tenths off Nick Heidfeld in 26th. Though this has been an absolutely devastating qualifying session for Jaguar, as there's no chance now. Both Jaguars are out the session. So for the first time in their history, Jaguar failed to qualify both cars. And I'll tell you what.
Result for Jaguar, and keep in mind they are going to get rebranded next year after Walkinshaw enters.
Yeah.
Not the way you want to demonstrate that you're going to enter a new era.
Yeah, Tom Walkinshaw is going to have his work cut out for him when he takes over as controlling owner of Jaguar, rebranding to TWR Jaguar for next season. D'Amata 27th, Verdheim 28th. It's got to be a sting in the tail for all those Jaguar employees, as Villeneuve will try to start another lap. He's down his 16th place right now, but I don't think he's going to be able to find the time. Same for Dixon. He's down in 20th place. Alonso's also trying to find some time, but I don't think he's going to be able to. Dixon's miles off the pace off his previous best, and he's going to stay in 20th. We'll see if the Canadian can try anything here. I don't think he's going to be able to be anything significant, though, as he makes his way towards the first sector. Timo Glock's driven off the track. Timo Glock's off the road, and I don't exactly know what's happened with him there.
Could be suspension. Look at how he's steering to the right. Left, sorry. No, left or right. God damn it, I cannot see. I think that could have been a suspension error.
We're going to check on what that actually was then. Because I'm certain that was not a replay glitch before anyone says it, okay? I'm certain that's not a replay glitch. That was not my fault. Even though it did look like a replay glitch.
At the moment, no one is saying it, so you... Oh,
it's a brake failure.
There goes Nelly.
Ah,
it's a brake failure, isn't it?
It's a brake failure. I see. Oof. Right, okay. So, both Opels running into trouble today, of course. De La Rosa with that engine failure. And now they're going to have a big rebuild ahead of the Opel crew between Saturday and Sunday. Sato goes into the pits. He's not going to be able to find any time. Dixon the same. Alonso 3 seconds off.
It is pretty much done. It is.
Yeah.
If this happens in the race, we're going to have one of the better Grand Prix for this half.
Yeah, Villeneuve's finding no time. Ralf Schumacher's 4 seconds off. Don't call me that, Benny, please.
Oh. No. No.
Villeneuve 5 seconds down as he goes across the line. Ralf Schumacher should be in 22nd. Heidfeld's just gone out there on intermediates for the love of the game, it seems. So... yeah, it seems like it's going to be the end of the session here today. Yep, Ralf Schumacher 22nd only. with a 122.3. Michael Schumacher is also out there on circuit, although I don't think he's going to be able to find any time. As he lets through Alonso, who's just going to dive into the pits. Yep. So, I think that is pretty much going to be the end of this qualifying session. Yeah, let's get some Heidfeld action. Here's some Heidfeld action with this strategy. Yeah, Heidfeld's down by a second on his previous best. It's not going to be the way to go, unfortunately, for Heidfeld. Session's done, but most importantly, he is through. The two Jaguars are not through. They are out. Damata out, 2.7 seconds off the pace. Verdheim out, 3.4 seconds off the pace. Were we gone? Wait, what? I've not had any, like, friend... Are you here as well, Jose? What is happening? Hello? For half the lap? Really? It said that I've not dropped any frames. Very strange. Well, sorry guys for that. I don't know what's happened there because on my end, my internet's not dropped out or anything like that. Must be a problem with YouTube, to be honest. Button's injury is probably for the best, spared him the indignity of Jaguar's performance, yeah. Well, you know, Jensen Button can go down as a driver that's never failed to qualify for Jaguar, yet. Still, obviously, 6 rounds to go in that regard. But, yeah, like I say, it's a solemn day if you're a fan of Jaguar. It was Heidfeld's aura that caused the stream to lag, true. Yeah, I think that might have been a YouTube server problem more than anything because I've not had any drop frames. It's not told me that I've lagged out at all. It was running at regular thing on my end, so I don't know what's just happened there. But we are back. We are back with 2 minutes to go in this qualifying session. Try as they might, but no one is improving out there today, as a lot of these drivers have now completed all of their qualifying laps. Trulli is 7 seconds off the pace, and I've got to say, the rain is coming down at a rate of knots now. Look at the spray that's coming off the back of Nick Heidfeld's car as he makes his way towards that final corner. I just want to say something, Nils. I've just realised something with your car. The Muller logos on the mirrors are upside down. I've just seen that. I don't know if you knew that. Probably not. I don't know why you purposefully make the logos upside down, but yeah. That's funny. You knew that? Why would you not? Why would you make it wrong? Okay. Yeah, could potentially be heading into wet conditions.
Did I miss much?
Apparently the stream died for about half a lap.
Oh.
But on my end, nothing's happened. I don't know what's happened. There is a chance that Barrichello could get disqualified from qualifying, but in turn, there's a way that any of these drivers could be disqualified from qualifying, of course.
Are you talking about the Astron livery for perchance?
No, he's on about the fact that I just spotted now that the Muller logos on the mirrors, they're upside down.
Oh. Means that's so when the car crashes you can read it better.
Exactly. So when you go like this, right, and then you zoom in. Oh, they're still not the right way. They're backwards as well. God damn it.
The mirror, though. Damn it.
Probably change that back to there. Like that. Okay. checkered flag has fallen, so those drivers currently on a lap will have to make this their last lap,
there you
as
go.
there's a contact there between Heidfeld and Michael Schumacher.
That could have been quite the interesting end to qualifying, so...
So at the end of qualifying then, it's Fernando Alonso on pole position, Raikkonen on the front row, Ralph Furman will start a career best third, as Michael Schumacher's a 3-place grid penalty. Giorgio Pantano 4th, Toccacello on his debut will be 5th place. A fantastic result for the Italian here today, as he will probably be absolutely ecstatic with that one. Michael Schumacher then will start from 6th, ahead of Barrichello, Sperrifico, Webber and Massa completing the top 10. Then in comes Coronel, Manassian, then De La Rosa with a 5-place grid penalty after his engine exploded in qualifying. Following him, it'll be Montoya, Fisichella, Villeneuve, Glock, Trulli, Sato and Dixon completing the top 20. Then Pitsonia, Ralf Schumacher, Justin Wilson, Ricardo Zonta, Nick Heidfeld and Patrick Friesacker will make up the 26. The 4 drivers out, the 2 Jaguars of D'Amato and Verdheim, and the 2 Minardis of Paffett and Montero, who qualifies 30th, but also has a 5-place grid penalty. Like that even matters anyway. But that is going to mark the end of qualifying. Join us in a few moments. We'll be right back for 70 laps of the 2004 Canadian Grand Prix. Don't go anywhere. Okie dokie. We are back with the correct grid order. Yes. I've got to say, we could have had the potential of a monsoonal race. There was monsoon conditions in the practice, not the practice, the warm-up session, the Sunday warm-up session, and it is dry for the race, which is a bit of a shame, but we should have more overtaken as a result, which we always love to see. Predictions in chat then as to who you will think will win the 2004 Canadian Grand Prix. My guess is that we are going to see a Michael Schumacher victory.
My guess is that either Heifel or Frisak is going to have an engine failure by lap 20.
Bit random, but okay.
It's just a curse. You know, the commentator curse that I've been dragging along recently, so it's just throwing it out already before it catches me in the middle of the race.
Right, I am going to be right back. I'm going to go get myself a drink. I would imagine you should do the same because hydration is very important. So I'll be back in a few moments. Moments? Why did I say it like that? I'll be back in a few moments with a drink and 70 laps of the Canadian Grand Prix to share. Okay, be right back.
Anyways, make your predictions as well on surprise of the day. Who do you think will be on points? Apart from the victor in the podium, do you reckon Toccacello will do a good race? I mean, he's in a Ferrari, it is to be expected, and he did surprisingly well, quicker than Barrichello, which is already something. So I do think he has a decent shot at some good points. Perhaps even a podium if the race gets too chaotic, but probably not. It really does depend on everything. I mean, Opel is not that bad of a position. If the strategy works and De La Rosa doesn't bin it, it could be a decent P10 or so results. Maybe not points, but definitely a good result. Impressive by Colonel as well. P11, that's nice. And holding down the far back, that's to be expected. Then, yeah, not really much I can say about this. That is Raikkonen getting in. That is Sparfico. Yeah, fair point, Gallifreyan. He is in Trulli's car, so anything can happen. Maybe the car just gives up again, or suspension fail in the middle of the race. Not on the middle of the track this time, please. We already have enough with one Italian down. We had one beforehand, so we don't really need more. But oh, I thought that was a wing or a piece. No, that's just one of the things in the middle of the turn. Forgot the name in English. Anyways, that is Toccacello, is it, or is it Barrichello?
That is Barrichello.
Yeah, it's Barrichello. That'll be Barrichello. Okay.
That is also called a bollard.
Alright, thank you. So much for a damn C1 in English when I can't even remember the name of the thing. Come on.
There's Toccacello.
And there's the Frisaker. Yeah, that's Frisaker. There's the Opel. That would be... I don't know. I think that's everyone, is it?
No. We've got like 10 more.
Oh yeah, where's Fernando? It's staring at me right on the screen. Where's Fernando?
Of course. we've got to wait for the two Renaults, as so often is the case. Always the Renaults are last. What a move from Giorgio Pantano! What a move! The overtakes Mark Webber there at the hairpin.
He's training for the race. But Mazda doesn't seem to give up either.
Oh, and Webber up the inside! Oh, and he spun round! Webber spun round!
I swear, it's not even the race.
Oh, dear me.
There has to be a penalty in the future from now on.
Here we go then, waiting for Fernando Alonso to make his way to the pole position slot. And then we'll get this Canadian Grand Prix underway.
Hello there. Welcome to Canada. The weather, as so often is the case here, is just wonderful.
I love that camera, just gravel. Anyway.
Yeah.
Alonso first. Kimi Raikkonen just got the edge over his teammate. He starts from second. Ralph Furman third. Giorgio Pantano fourth.
Enrico Toccacello
Fifth. The McLaren driver performed brilliantly in qualifying to line up sixth. Rubens Barrichello seventh.
Riccardo Sperafico
Eighth. Webber, 9th. Felipe Massa, 10th. 11th.
Nicolas Menacion
12th. Pedro de la Rosa, 13th. Juan Pablo Montoya, 14th. Fisichella, 15th. Villeneuve, 16th. T. Motlow, 17th.
Benoit Trellier
18th. Sato, 19th.
Scott Dixon
20th. Antonio Pizzonia, 21st. Schumacher, 22nd. Justin Wilson, 23rd. Ricardo Zonta, 24th.
With Heidfeld and Friesacker on the back row of the grid, it is time to go racing here for the Canadian Grand Prix. Round 12 of 18 of the 2004 Formula 1 season is nearly underway. The lights are green, there's racing to be seen. I believe one of the Bootsons in the background has stalled. That might be Friesacker as they head towards turn 1. I think someone else has fallen towards the back as well. Yep, Friesacker's definitely out the race.
Oh yeah.
And Ralf Schumacher's fallen to the back of the field as well, as Heidfeld's been involved in a crash further back as well. Alonso leads, though, ahead of Raikkonen, Furman, Pantano and Toccacello. Up the inside for Raikkonen, not quite.
Wilson are dropping like a rock.
Yeah, I think there's been a big incident towards the back. We'll check that in a second, but we'll have a look at what happened with Friesacker.
As well, we might have to take a look at them. This is what happens when you give a car wine instead of fuel. They run very well for a few minutes, then collapse.
So let's see what happened then with Nick Heidfeld. Down towards turn 1. He makes multiple overtakes there and drives into the back of Timo Glock. I'd say a bit of a racing incident there between him and his countryman. Unfortunately, Glock will be out of this race. Heidfeld is also going to need a new front wing, which is pretty much going to eliminate him from any and all competitive contention in this race. At the front, though, Raikkonen leading. No, Raikkonen's not leading. Alonso's leading, but Raikkonen's on the prowl, as is Ralf Furman in towards the hairpin. Now, we expect to see a lot of overtakes down here, and Raikkonen's really going for it on the Spaniard, looking any which way, inside, outside. He's going to go towards the inside, in towards the hairpin, shoving Alonso out wide, and That is indeed. Through goes Raikkonen into the lead of the 2004 Canadian Grand Prix. The championship leader is also now the race leader here at the start of this race. Welcome in, Auto Expert, as Fernando Alonso doesn't seem done yet as they head towards the final chicane, maybe looking for a bit of a sniff up the inside. De La Rosa's out the race, so it's absolute devastation for the Opel team. As where's the Spaniard? There he is off at the side of the road. Both Opels out in the first lap. Massa then up into 12th place. Further up the road though, Raikkonen still leading.
Well, that is a black weekend for Opel there. I'm just waiting for Ben's reaction here. If even there it is. But that is a big shame for De La Rosa. Do you reckon the Dams and Opel made a technology swap? They changed suspension for engine or something?
I'm not entirely sure, but De La Rosa there making his way past Felipe Massa, and then his suspension immediately going down the back straight, pulling off to the side of the road, and 3 retirements already in this race, 2 of them being the Opel cars of Timo Glock and Pedro De La Rosa, the other one being Patrick Friesacker for Boutsen. So 3 of the 26 are already out this race. And as we currently stand, by the end of like lap 8 or 9, we'll see all the drivers out of the race. Hopefully that's not the case, otherwise we'll be left with quite a boring racetrack for the remaining like 60 or so laps. At the front though, Raikkonen leads by 0.7 of a second, is starting to try and pull out a gap ahead of Fernando Alonso, who is defending from Ralph Furman. There's a bit of a contact there between the Irishman and the Spaniard as they head out of the hairpin, and I've got to say Furman's looking very feisty off this race start to try and get his way up into 2nd position. Pantano's looking fairly sheepish as well to get involved in this battle as Tocatello's trying to hold off Michael Schumacher in towards the final chicane. The German a long way back here into the final couple of corners, and he's not going to be able to make that move.
So far so good for Enrico Tocatello. Then we have Furman attacking Fernando Alonso. That's not an image I expected to see out of recent. But really, relatively, I was going to say calm, but not calm at all. I mean, we've had an accident and everything, and a suspension failure. But really impressive so far for Tocatello, holding his ground against Schumacher.
Biggest gainer then on the field, it's Giancarlo Fisichella, who's made his way from 15th to 11th on the grid. Justin Wilson as well, up 4 places as well, as Manassian's made his way towards the fringe of the points. Furman, though, looking ever so desperate to try and get past Fernando Alonso. A bit wide there as he headed through turn 9. Very nearly lost the car into the barriers there. We've seen several times, several high quality drivers there in the wall previously at turn 9 here at Canada, and Ralph Furman nearly an extension to that list.
Furman really looking to put Fernando against the wall there. Really impressive pace for the Irishman. But
Tocatello's been overtaken by Schumacher. No. Sorry to interrupt.
Well, yeah, it's okay.
So Tocatello now under pressure potentially from his teammate Barrichello. Barrichello needs to beat Tocatello in this race. He needs to prove that he is the man to carry Ferrari, maybe not to Drivers' Championships himself, but definitely to Constructors' Championships in the future, of course. That three-way title fight is currently bowing in the way of McLaren and Renault as it currently stands, with both McLarens currently the top 5, as well as both Renaults. But Alonso still under pressure from Ralph Furman for this second position, and I feel like it's only going to be a matter of time of when rather than if Ralph Furman makes his way through and up into second position. Furman is on an absolute tear right now. He's proving to the world that he deserves to stay in Formula 1, even without a contract for 2005, driving out of his skin.
Furman proving that he does deserve a seat. Look at that. Still chasing Fernando, even if Renault does seem to have better. Oh, wait, there could be a move, down the inside he goes.
And that's a brave move.
Wow.
Furman's up to second position. What a move from the Irishman, and now he could potentially go and challenge Raikkonen for the race lead.
That was a really daring move by Ralph Furman, executed perfectly for the Irishman. Bravo, Furman.
And Alonso going for a bit of a retaliation.
Yes, still close there. But I think his biggest worry at the moment is going to be his teammate.
Jacques Villeneuve versus Felipe Massa for 12th place in this race, and there's contact between the two. Villeneuve got through on Felipe Massa at the hairpin, and he keeps the place even despite the straight line speed advantage that Red Bull possesses, as Michael Schumacher has now set the fastest lap of the race. He's dropping Enrico Torricello at a rate of knots, and Barrichello is starting to get held up behind his teammates. Seems though sorry, go on.
Oh, go on, it's okay.
It seems though at the front of the field, Kimi Raikkonen seems to be pulling away from Ralph Furman, as Fernando Alonso kind of keeping tabs with the Irishman as of right now, but not keeping as close as Barrichello is to Torricello. I feel like Barrichello should be able to make his way through, but not driving like that. If he goes any further wide, then Mark Webber's going to have something to say about it in towards the hairpin. Looking towards the inside is the Australian still, but he's not able to get close enough to make a move.
That's what I was going to say. This is a perfect opportunity for... Oh!
Ralph's in the wall.
Did you say Michael or Ralph?
Ralph's in the wall.
Ralph Schumacher, okay.
Zonta's also lost his front wing. So
Looks to me
these
like an accident
two...
between these two.
Yep, and it's devastation for the Boutsen crew, who have now had one car out and one car without a front wing. So let's get a check on what just happened then between Zonta and Ralf Schumacher. In a train here led by Justin Wilson, looking towards the inside of Antonio Pizzonia. Bit too much on the curb. Oh, he's spun it round.
Pizzonia.
I've got to say though, Ralph kind of squeezed
And then,
oh
bam!
dear me. That's a penalty for Ralf Schumacher, I'm afraid. He's squeezed Pizzonia off onto the grass, paid the price, spun himself around, and then has just collected Riccardo Zonta in that. There's no doubt in my mind that Ralf Schumacher's going to get a penalty for that one.
I mean, that was far from a good or clear move there, right after the spin. That it has to be a penalty for the German champion.
Boutsen Energy Racing.
And it is indeed a 10-second time penalty for Ralf Schumacher for that one.
And I have to agree with Gallifrey on that. I think the Boutsen boss is going to need another crate of grape juice. Yeah, he will. But at this point, he's in the 5th crate. Not bottle, mind you. Crate. Man's drinking himself to death.
Drinking it by the barrel load.
Yeah.
And now Michael Schumacher looking towards the inside of Giorgio Pantano. This is a move for 4th place if he can pull it off, and he does pull it off into the hairpin. So that's 4th place now for the 5-time world champion. He's had a lot of bad luck in recent rounds. He's quite a way off in the championship picture as well, I believe. Something towards the 20-point margin behind his teammate with 6 rounds to go in this championship. And he needs every single point that he can get. He believes that he can still grab that 6th world championship. Further back, Torricello still holding his teammate back a little bit into the clutches of Mark Webber. The Red Bull looking very anxious to try and get past the Ferrari. Of course, these two are technically rivals, both being powered by an Italian engine supplier. Of course, Ferrari with their own works outfit, and Red Bull with the Lamborghini power that powered BAR to a couple of victories between the years of 2000 and 2003. Welcome in, Joycey.
Well, in the meantime, Torricello demonstrated that he can be a little bit of a pest for his teammate there, as Webber has a now almost clear chance of an overtake on the Ferrari of Rubens Barrichello.
And the team boss down at Dams is not going to be pleased with this. A Toyota sandwich that Nicolas Manassi has found himself in. We've seen on multiple occasions that the Toyota has been handily capable of beating the Dams down a straight line in tracks such as Australia and Malaysia, but this time with Dams with a much better car to previous rounds at the earlier part of the season, it could bring a potential to Manassi in actually getting through, as Sato's just overtaken Benoit Trellier, although the Toyota power unit looking a bit more strong than the Honda as they head towards the final chicane, gaining up the inside potentially for the Frenchman of Benoit Trellier, nearly making contact there with Sato as he cuts across the nose of the Rose Toyota and keeps that 16th place for now. A great battle here as Scott Dixon looks to get involved in the BAR as well. Looking towards the inside is Benoit Trellier, and I think a bit more contact. Sato nearly losing the rear of the car and staying ahead still. So good car control there for Sato as he is the lead Honda right now. Not many times this season we've seen him at the lead of in the lead of the two Hondas. But currently in this race, he's outqualified his teammate Ralf Schumacher. Schumacher's been involved in an incident as there goes Michael Schumacher, once again making another move on another Renault at the hairpin. That's third place now for Michael Schumacher as he now sets his sights on Ralf Furman in third. Could we suggest a potential 2 or 3 stop strategy for Michael Schumacher? I would assume so, considering the German is a lot faster than the rest of his front-running rivals.
Does look like so. Like this is the fight I wanted to see here. Oh, I think something happens to further. No, it's the usual. Okay then, I got jump scale for a second there.
Yeah, Michael Schumacher's the player car today. And there is the top speed graphic, and I've got to say, Ralf Furman, pretty decent in the straight line. 321 for Michael as well, 323 for Benoit Trellier, 325 for Pitsonia is the fastest out there on circuit. So the Brabham certainly looking quite handy in a straight line as the leaders now come up to lap traffic. Ricardo Zonta, of course, caught up in that incident with Ralf Schumacher earlier on in the race. Ralf Schumacher given a 10-second time penalty, much to the disdain of Thierry Boutsen, but that is what the stewards have dealt out. We'll see then if Michael Schumacher can close in this gap to Ralf Furman. Of course, Alonso has just lost a couple of seconds now to Michael Schumacher in the intervening lap or so after getting around Ricardo Zonta. Yeah, so 3 seconds has now opened up between Michael Schumacher and Fernando Alonso, as Schumacher definitely looks like the fastest man on track right now. Furman is just about the same pace as Kimi Raikkonen at this early stage of the race. Could there be an early switch to a 2 or 3 stop for Furman as well? Is undecided as Pitsonia has gotten past Justin Wilson for the lower threshold of 19th in this race. Dams must have an incredible aero package to make this Cosworth engine work well. Well, yeah. They've worked hard. A lot of upgrades have gone onto that Dams car to make sure that it's a fighting force towards the front of the field, and it certainly seems to be working, at least in the hands of Ralf Furman. A lot of downforce as well on that car to compensate, and a lot of drag to compensate for the lacking Cosworth power unit. Well, you've seen what the other Cosworth cars have been capable of doing this weekend. All 4 of the other cars that aren't the Dams were the other Cosworth powered cars, so both Jaguars for the Works Ford team and both Minardis for the customer, of course, all out in qualifying. And if you missed it, it was indeed the first time that Jaguar have failed to qualify with both cars in their history. Sato's made a move on Tom Coronel for 15th place in this race. The Dutchman now down to 16th in this race, could potentially fall under pressure from his teammates as well as Benoit Trellier. Further back, Justin Wilson has got back ahead of Antonio Pitsonia. The Mercedes-powered Brabham, though, looking to potentially fight back in towards the final chicane. We've seen that Pitsonia is fastest in the speed trap, so maybe looking towards the inside could be the Brazilian, but can't get close enough. Outbraking the Briton is a bit difficult into the final chicane, and he stays behind for now. Massa keeping tabs with Jacques Villeneuve ahead. Esperifico also not letting Manassian go. As further up the field, we've missed it again, but Michael Schumacher, He's second place now. Furman has been pushed down to third, and the German is really on a tear. He's up to second place, just 2.5 seconds off the race lead. Furman's going to try for the move back up the inside, but will not be able to. Schumacher, currently the only driver running in the 1:16s, as he's just under a second faster than the rest of the field. Let's get a replay of what happened then. Is it just a simple move into the hairpin? Outbraking the outside car, looking towards the inside. Fairly simple move there for Michael Schumacher, who is now up into second place. That now is a McLaren 1-2 and will be crucial if it stays like this for a retention of the championship lead for McLaren in the constructors. Of course, they sit 1 point behind Renault as of right now, as Benoit Trellier has now gotten past Tom Coronel, so the Dutchman seemingly, with his decent qualifying performance, now falling off the pace of the rest of the midfield.
I was just going to say this. I think Torricello's catching up to Pantano.
Yeah, the Italians could potentially do combat here for 5th place in this race if Torricello can find a way through and potentially go for a move. Of course, Torricello on his debut for Ferrari today, and he is... Pizzonia's
accident for
crashed.
Pizzonia.
As there goes Torricello looking towards the inside, can't find his way through. Pizzonia's out the race, brake failure there for the Brazilian, and we'll get a check on that one in a second. But there goes Torricello towards the inside of Giorgio Pantano. The former championship leader has been overtaken by the rookie. A brilliant move there from the Ferrari man as he now moves up into the top 5. 4 retirements in this race. Make that 6 retirements, 5 retirements from this race.
Raikkonen is running first, less than 3 seconds ahead. You're running second.
So Pittonia making contact there with the Rose Toyota at the hairpin and then into the chicane. Expect to see a brake failure here for Antonio Pittonia. Into the wall at the Wall of Champions, and he is out of this race. A lot of speed, fortunately, scrubbed off for him there.
That could have been so much worse. Imagine if he didn't spin through the chicane, just kept going into the pits. That could have been a disaster for Pitsonia. Thank God he's okay, and that is just Honda that led to us right on action.
It is indeed a big shame there for Takuma Sato, as he was running a decent race, well ahead of his teammate Ralf Schumacher in this Grand Prix. Schumacher down in 20th place. And with a 10-second time penalty for that collision earlier on in the race, is all that Honda have to show for 13 laps in.
Lackluster season for Honda. So they went from I think they were midfielders. Honda.
Yeah, they've been decently in the midfield, somewhere around that 5th to 8th place range in the constructors, but this season they have fallen miles behind. Even with the world-class talent that is Ralf Schumacher, they have really struggled. So Antonio Pitsonia had a brake failure into the final chicane, Nils unfortunately, and he has retired from the race. Crashed into the wall a little bit at the Wall of Champions, but he is fine.
Yeah, so for you and Benny, there's no really incentive to care about the race much. Stay watching though, but both of your teams are out, mate.
No. Go watch. If you go and rewind, go rewind and watch the crash.
Rewind. He's still alive. Sorry, Nils. I did say one of the Brabhams would get a failure before or at lap 20. So
no. What you said is Heidfeld or Friesacker to have a failure, and both of them are out before lap 14. So
Heidfeld's still on the track though. I completely forgot about him.
Oh yeah, Heidfeld. Yeah, not Pitsonia. Yep. No one's dead, James. Welcome in. Pitsonia's just had a crash down at the final chicane with a brake failure, but it's not a big crash. Michael Schumacher, though, has caught up to the back of his teammate Kimi Raikkonen. Schumacher, bear in mind, started down in 6th place in this race, and within 13.5 laps has managed to claw his way up to the lead of this Grand Prix. And I've got to say, I feel like there's going to be very little that Raikkonen can do about Michael Schumacher as they head into the hairpin. Schumacher unable to go for a move. It's definitely got to be only a matter of time until Raikkonen is overtaken here. He's pushing to a fairly extensive degree, but not as much as Michael Schumacher is right now. He's definitely got to be on a light fuel load, and if he's not, then this is absolutely lightning pace from the 5-time world champion.
Raikkonen is running first. It's right in front of you. You're running second.
In the meantime, we have the Tocacello train.
Yeah, a little bit of a Tocacello train right now as he is leading Pantano, Barrichello, Webber and Fisichella for 5th place right now. He's just gotten past Giorgio Pantano a couple of laps ago. Welcome in, Shane. Hope that your week has gone well.
So Shane, the whole thing is that there's custom teams and weird driver changes. So yeah, you have Michael Schumacher at
McLaren.
McLaren, thank you. Then you have what else? Red Bull in earlier with Lamborghini engines.
Yeah,
Nicolas
so...
Minastian in Formula 1 as well.
Oh, that's up the inside for Michael Schumacher. He's making a move on Kimi Raikkonen and he takes the lead of the Canadian Grand Prix. A brilliant move there from Schumacher as he's gone from 6th all the way up to 1st in 14 laps. What a start to the race this has been. But Kimi Raikkonen's looking back towards the inside. He's going to look towards the move. He's going into the pits. Raikkonen into the pits already. So Schumacher has got the pace. Schumacher into the lead, Furman's up to 2nd, Alonso should surely move up to 3rd as a result. Yeah, so this is a series with the AI simulation that has gone on since 1998. So this is the 7th season of this this career. And we've had quite a disparity from real life. For example, Alexander Wurz is a world champion in this. And Raikkonen is going to rejoin, unfortunately, right at the back of the Tocacello train down in 9th place. So he has got to get past all these cars if he wants any chance of beating his teammate Michael Schumacher today. But I've surely got to assume that Michael Schumacher has got to be able to do this overcut on his teammate. Thank you to Dancer for subscribing.
Dams Lola.
Who won the championships in what year? Ralph Furman is into the pits. So Michael Schumacher, 1998, won the championship for Ferrari after both Hakkinen and Coulthard were injured at stages of that season. 99 was fairly straightforward. It was a Schumacher versus Irvine championship in which Schumacher came out on top after Irvine's luck finally ran out at the end of the season. Irvine was leading the championship with 4 races to go, but without a single engine failure, and then had 4 in a row, so Schumacher was able to just kind of run away in the championship. 2000 saw David Coulthard dominance, the most wins that we have seen in a season ever. He had 10 wins to the season in 2000, taking the championship fairly early on in that season. 2001 saw Williams come to the forefront after a fairly poor 98, 99 and 2000, and in 2001 with Wurz and Montoya winning the Constructors and Wurz winning the Drivers' Championship just ahead of Mika Hakkinen. But a poor run of form for Ferrari, for Michael Schumacher, including a lot of mechanical retirements, meant that he was sick of that and then moved to McLaren, in which he won the championship in 2002 for McLaren and winning his 5th World Championship. 03, Ferrari once again back on top as Ralf Schumacher for Ferrari moved to the team and won the championship in his first season, just ahead of both all of Trulli, Michael Schumacher and Wurz. And then he moved to Honda after feeling he was out of favour with the team against the Italian of Jarno Trulli at the Italian team of Ferrari. As Fisichella there has just gotten past Mark Webber, so that's why Ralf Schumacher is at the back of the field, because he now drives a pretty rubbish Honda. And currently leading this championship is Kimi Raikkonen, 12 rounds in and he's not won a race, so consistency has very much been the key for Raikkonen as Tocacello is into the box. As hello Redox, how long does this career mode go? Not entirely sure, but it probably will end in this decade at least. Definitely would not go later than 2009 as the mods past the point of 2008 or so are not very good. And Tocacella's going to re-emerge out the pit lane on the end of lap 17, the start of lap 18, in 13th place. Scott Dixon's going to follow him in. And this has certainly not been as good of a race as the previous rounds in Austria and Hungary. Of course, Austria, he scored a 9th place, where Coulthard was 14th. And then in Hungary, he was also ahead of Coulthard in that race. And then retired with a brake problem, I think, with about 30 laps to go from 5th place, something like that. So, yeah, unfortunate to see him not score a point so far this season, but I imagine that we will see it at some point.
Almost every race is a little bit chaotic, so definitely stay for those. Sometimes you have engine failures on the dozen. Sometimes you have fights that go on until the end. There's more variety than you might think.
No, FF. Austria wasn't a good race as a whole. Austria was a good race specifically for Scott Dixon against David Coulthard, is what I was meaning. Austria was an absolute bore fest. I just started rambling on about absolutely anything. Even did an ASMR section in that in that stream. So I was that bored. As Wilson and Trellier have just swapped places down at the hairpin. Michael Schumacher's coming through to lap the pair of them. Has Alonso stopped?
I think not.
Oh my god, I've just Michael Schumacher's nearly a whole pit stop in front of Fernando Alonso. He is so fast.
Yeah, man's going quick, isn't he?
He's just lapped both Rose. Oh, what have I done? He's just lapped both Rose cars, right? So he's just lapped 2 cars. Alonso's lapped 1 car and is slower by a second. Michael Schumacher is about 2 seconds a lap faster than anyone else. He's on an absolute tear right now. Yeah, the 2 Rose cars are going hammer and tongue for the lofty heights of 17th place right now. If you don't know as well, we've got a bunch of custom teams in this. For example, the end of 2001, Jordan had to sell up and sold up to Dams. They currently have the lineup of Ralph Furman and Nicholas Manassian. Red Bull bought a 75% stake of Sauber at the back end of 2003 and have rebranded to Red Bull with Lamborghini Works Support, who left BAR at the end of last year, which unfortunately stopped the run of some very nice liveries, I thought, of the BAR. They're still good liveries still, but yeah, I much prefer the black and gold BARs that we had. I feel like Shumi may need his code examining. He is absolutely rapid right now, as he is pulling away from the rest of the field at a rate of knots, as Pantano there has gotten past Rubens Barrichello for 3rd place. Barrichello was a bit of a train driver there for a moment, as Tocacello is not really catching up to the back of Montoya. I would have expected him to do so at this stage of the race. Barrichello looking for a bit of a move there on Mark Webber and who at Red Bull? It is Mark Webber and Felipe Massa. So Massa stayed at the Sauber team from 03 to 04, which, you know, turned into Red Bull. So, granted, it is a bit weird seeing Massa in Red Bull, but it's kind of still there because of the Sauber links.
Did Tocacello pit? Because I was busy tending to an ice cream I have here.
Yeah. Tocacello pit about 5 laps ago.
Alright, good.
Coronel's into the box. Do you know what I want to watch? I want to watch this gargantuan battle, it seems, between the 2 Rose cars for 17th place. They are going absolutely bonkers for this 17th place that they're fighting for. Trellier is going up the inside into the final chicane. Can't quite get ahead of Justin Wilson, though, as Tom Coronel's 8.7 second stop should fetch him out ahead of this battle of the ages in 16th position.
It's probably one of the only battles we'll have at the back for the time being. So it'll be fine if they crash. So
in more recent news, Enrico Tocacello drives for Ferrari. This is his debut in Formula 1, the 2004 Canadian Grand Prix, after Jarno Trulli won the race in Hungary, had a suspension failure over the line, and got collected by David Coulthard and had a humongous crash. So, Torricello, who is a Ferrari tested reserve driver, fills in for him, and I've got to say, he's been doing a marvellous job so far, out-qualified Barrichello in qualifying, and so far has been the faster of the two in the race as well, so even though Barrichello has not stopped, and has gotten back ahead of Giorgio Pantano, so... When you were a kid, you always thought Sauber was Red Bull anyway, that's fair. They had the Red Bull sponsorship for a long time, didn't they? It was like, what, 1995 to 2004? Until Red Bull came into the sport, so... Yeah.
Yeah, if I remember correctly, it was until 2004, yeah.
No serious injuries. Well, David Coulthard does have a twisted ankle and a broken toe from his crash with Jarno Trulli. It was put in the news report, so he is going to be out for a number of races. Jarno Trulli is only expected to be out for the North American leg, which is this and the next round in the United States, which is the Indianapolis Motor Speedway.
The War of the Roses. Don't, Joyce. No, I have to. I studied British history last semester at university. I do not want to remember that thing. It was a nightmare on the exam. Please, no PTSD, please.
Michael Schumacher is going to be into the pits then at the end of this lap. He has done exceptionally to pull out the gap that he has over second place man Fernando Alonso. I've got to say, between qualifying and the race, something has happened to Michael Schumacher that has just completely clicked in his brain to lead by 23 seconds into the pits.
Just wait until he gets an engine failure or suspension failure. We've seen plenty so far, so I wouldn't say no.
And if you want to find out more information about this series,
interesting refuel,
then join the Discord.
right on the head.
9.3 seconds then for Michael Schumacher, who is just going to arrive out of the pit exit in front of Fernando Alonso. Fisichella's into the box then for Toyota. So he's had enough of that horrible train that he was involved in, and he thinks, you know what, I'm going for the undercut. So into the pits at the end of lap 23 for Giancarlo Fisichella. I imagine this is around the time where we're seeing the two stoppers get involved. And a 9.6 second stop there for the Italian is going to allow him to rejoin directly behind his compatriot. And in 13th place. Another transfer going into this race. Jacques Villeneuve is back at Williams after a 4-year sabbatical. He joined Toyota at the start of the season after Fisichella had a big crash in Japan last year in qualifying. So Fisichella was out, Villeneuve was in at Toyota, and then when Fisichella came back, Villeneuve was put to the sidelines as Pantano has gotten back past Barrichello for third. Genet filled in for Wirtz, who is not expected to be in the car for the rest of the season down at Williams after he had a very big crash in Manicourt. But with the underperformance of the Spaniard, it has meant that he has been dropped as well, and Jacques Villeneuve has now come in to help them try and get fourth in these the constructors. Of course, if you don't know how the standings are looking, Raikkonen leads currently by 8 points ahead of Fernando Alonso. Trulli is in third, even though he is not here for the next two races at least. Filling in is Enrico Torricello in that car anyway, with Alonso in fourth, and I think it's Michael Schumacher in fifth place. He has often been the fastest driver out on circuit this season, Michael Schumacher, but more often than not, mechanical gremlins have put pay to what has always been a fairly spectacular race to watch from the German. He's gunning for that 6th World Championship, and he wants to make history. 2004 still could be his season, but it's looking ever the more difficult. He still leads this race, though, by 5 seconds, even after making his stop, as there goes Barrichello looking towards the inside of Giorgio Pantano and moving up into 3rd position. So Barrichello, the Brazilian, will move ahead of the Renault, even though the Renault looks ever so feisty to try and make his way back through. Can Pantano look towards the inside in towards the chicane? Is it going to outbrake the Brazilian, but not by enough to mount a substantial challenge, and he's going to stay in 4th position. Manassian's just gotten past Sperrifico down at the hairpin, so the Brazilian is going to need to find a way through once more, as he's actually overtaken Manassian. They've been swapping places for about 3 or 4 times now, and Sperrifico needs to get this move done and just run away if he wants to find his way into the points today.
Also, Gallifreyan, Jenny is driving a taxi back at Spain. So don't worry about it. He's going quicker in the taxi than he ever did in the Williams.
Sometimes Genet was driving that slow in the Williams. I'm pretty sure he'd go faster in the RPX.
Honestly, I wouldn't be too surprised.
And if you don't know what an RPX is, that was a team on the F1 grid last season, failed to qualify for every race, dropped down to GP2, and now they do GP2 in 2004. We also have, for example, the Dams team, like that black car in the background driven by Ralph Furman. A couple of the teams are managed by humans or players. For example, Zatent runs Dams. Benny as well, you might know Benny around. He runs Opel. For example, Racing at Home as well runs Boots and Energy Racing. We got Rose Wilson, who runs Rose Toyota. Jeffrey Tentire runs BAR. And we've got a bunch of other people as well who also run teams down in the GP2 series. Nils also runs Brabham as well.
Yeah, you almost forgot about him, did you?
No?
No, of course. I just see Nils just coming saying hello.
I'm going for the rage bait response, definitely.
Yeah, definitely.
One day McLaren will not ruin Raikkonen's race, but today is not that day. As Pantano, retaliating on Rubens Barrichello a lap later after falling down a place, will make his way back up into 3rd. Raikkonen, though, is on the back of these two. If these two don't stop squabbling, then very quickly Raikkonen should be able to take the podium place away from these two. And of course, the Discord is where you can find out results in GP2, which has been a simulated series since 2002. I also stream that series often on a Friday, that normally is. F3 Euro Series is also streamed strictly in my Discord. We've also got the Ligue Championship on Assetto Corsa, which is a bit of a bit more of a less serious series, but we have like it's kind of like the lower, it's kind of like a lower formula thing with the Ligier JS8, or if you want to search it up on Google, it's the Ligier JS4. How do I simulate the GP2 championship? I simulate it, there you go, with the GP2 2005-06 modders. Heidfeld, I think, has run into problems. I think he's just had a spin down at the 3rd chicane, and now he's fallen down to 19th position in this race. So we'll get a replay on what's just happened there in a moment. Check that he's not going to the pits. There we go. So Heidfeld was battling with Ralf Schumacher for the nosebleeding heights of 17th, something like that. Yeah, so I use the... Oh, that's why. Hi. It's Benoit Trellier that's just been spun round by his teammate. The Battle of the Roses has been completed.
Oh!
And the Yorkshireman of Justin Wilson will take that position and will also take a 5-second time penalty.
Jaden, I will send you to the Battle of Culloden if you keep saying that. No. Please. I almost failed the exam because of the War of the Roses. Please, no.
Yeah, so I used the GP205-06 mod on R Factor 1. So, yeah, so this is run on F1 Challenge. We run GP2 on R Factor 1. We run F3 Euro Series also on F1 Challenge, but I'm thinking of maybe moving that as well to R Factor. I'm assuming Gallifrey's also from Yorkshire. We've got Super Truck World Challenge, which is just Formula Trucks in Brazil, which basically is just a worldwide series now. That is on our F1 Challenge. We've got Ligier on Assetto Corsa. Yeah, and those are the only series that I do. I had kind of a thought of potentially doing more series in the future, but I feel like we've already got a fairly coherent system already, as there goes Raikkonen looking towards the inside of Ralph Furman. I think Furman managed to get past Raikkonen during that incident between the two Rose cars, which held up Raikkonen a little bit and actually a place. Sperafico has also gotten past Nicholas Manassian for 7th place, so once again these two have swapped around, and the Toyota is once again back ahead of the Dams. So Nicholas Manassian's got it all to do once more, and cannot make the move into the final chicane. So 30 laps down, 40 laps to go, so just under half race distance. Michael Schumacher has made a stop and leads the race. Alonso, yet to stop, is in 2nd. Pantano in 3rd, with Rubens Barrichello in 4th. Those three have all not made stops. Furman is 2nd of those that have made stops. He's holding off Raikkonen for 5th place right now, with Sperafico and Manassian completing the points. Montoya in the Williams in 9th, with Tocciello on debut completing the top 10. Massa in 11th, Fisichella in 12th, Webber 13th, Villeneuve on his Williams debut down in 14th, with Coronel, Dixon, Justin Wilson and Ralf Schumacher, Nick Heidfeld all battling there for 17th. Benoit Trulli in 20th, Zonta 21st and last in the Boutsen, with Sato, Pitsonia, De La Rosa, Glock and Friesacker all out of the race. We saw in qualifying both the Jaguars and both the Minardis get knocked out in qualifying. It's the first time that we've ever seen both Jaguars fail to qualify, as yeah, we saw Verdheim make his Jaguar debut this season in a race session, as Ralph Furman gets through on Nick Heidfeld, and unfortunately for Raikkonen, he's stuck behind the Brabham once more. The Brabham should realistically be helping him out more than the Dams, but oh well. With Heidfeld being the reserve driver at Mercedes, McLaren Mercedes, and obviously Brabham using customer Mercedes engines as well. Up the inside for Raikkonen getting through on Heidfeld to lap him in this race.
The Brabham does not concern himself with size, he just wants to slow everyone down.
Leaving those tyres behind. You are indeed. You are moving to Lamborghini Power next season, and also losing the Brabham rights and Brabham naming rights, and becoming Austrian Grand Prix for 2005. I think Furman got past Kimi during the Benoit Trellier spin. I think somewhere around there. And I think Rubens Barrichello is also going to be into the pits, as one of the Red Bulls is as well, I'm led to believe. As there goes Barrichello into the box. That's going to allow Pantano to have a bit of breathing room behind. Furman's going to move up to 4th, I should say. Raikkonen up to 5th. And this could be actually fairly close, I reckon, between Barrichello and Tocciello on pit exit, as now the Brazilian makes his way into the box, out-qualified by his rookie teammates here today. And I've got to say, Barrichello has really got to prove himself, even though he's got a contract confirmed until the end of 2005. He certainly needs to be proving himself better than what he has done so far this Grand Prix. Out of the pits then for Rubens Barrichello, a 12-second stop it shall be. That should possibly present a one-stop strategy. Same for his compatriot Massa, who has a 13-second stop. There goes Webber up the inside of the Boutsen.
I had a brain for that. I was going to say, isn't Massa Italian? Oh, come on. I was focusing on Tocatello and I was going to say it. Ah, man.
Hello, Divasol. Welcome back. Yeah, so I believe the next bit of streaming action that we have will be towards the start of next week. I need to check this. For those that are wondering, by the way, the next episode of the 1994 season, the Portuguese Grand Prix, will be releasing on Wednesday, the 29th of April. So, be sure to check that one out when it comes out. And if you don't know what that series is, driver career mode starting in 93, we're now in 94. And that, if that interests you, be sure to subscribe. So next race is the Indianapolis race. We've got the GP2 series in Estonia. We've got the F3 Euro Series in Hungary. As there goes Tocatello jumping ahead of Nicolas Menassing with a faster stop. But I think Tocatello will be having to make another stop. Yeah, I'm joined by Jose Medrano today, also known as Red Crow.
Yeah, hello. I manage Chimera. You'll see them.
Yeah, he manages the GP2 series team in this series as well. There is no Super Truck stream next week, but there should be one the week after. Yes, that sounds about right. So we have got the next stream will be in my Discord only, by the way, because it sometimes takes a long time to set up the F3 Euro Series. Next stream, F3 Euro Series around the Hungaroring. Yep, that's the track's name. And that is the 10th round of 13 in that series. So if you're interested in that, be sure to join the Discord. It was linked in the chat a bit ago. But there should be a link in the description of the stream if it's not already. I've had some problems. I feel like I've copied it over like 3 billion times, but it is an invalid link. So if people ask for it, be sure to let me know, and I will put it in chat. Raikkonen has just re-emerged out the pits after his second stop in 8th position. So he has just rejoined, fortunately for him, ahead of Mark Webber. I feel like he would have been a fairly tough customer to get past, as Ralph Furman, I think, is also into the bits at the end of this lap. Alonso's into the box on lap 35, so this, I imagine, to be his one and only stop in the race. No, it shouldn't be. He's not said something completely FF.
Oh,
yeah.
bullshit, yeah.
The only thing
he's been kind of calm today.
the only thing that we've had so far is maybe suggesting Daytona to be the United States Grand Prix race,
Which is horrid.
So Alonso's rejoined down in 3rd. Furman 4 places further back. He's rejoined right behind the 2 Toyotas and the Williams of Juan Pablo Montoya. How long has Kimi been in McLaren in this universe? So Kimi Raikkonen had in 2001 his debut season. He had a seat share with Bruno Junqueira because the FIA did not want to give him a full super license for 2001, unlike real life. And then 2002 he got that seat full time, scored 2 pole positions before even getting a single point in his Formula 1 career in a Sauber. Don't know how that happened. Then he scored a 2nd place in that Sauber at Hungary, and then got the move up to McLaren for 2003. Scored his first victory of his Formula 1 career last season at the Chinese Grand Prix at the Zhuhai International Circuits, and currently leads the World Drivers' Championship despite not winning a race this season. So he's a one-time race winner and leads the championship by 8 points, which is like KK Rosberg sort of stats.
My eyes heard, damn you, Derby saw. Not Caesar's Palace. No. We let that thing die alone. We're gonna let it die again. We're not touching that, please.
I don't think the car park exists by 2004 anymore. Sperifico is going to exit the pits. Through goes Villeneuve and Toccacello, but the shorter run through turns 1 and 2 could present the Brazilian rejoining ahead of the pair of them, and does so. So Sperifico has got the jump on Enrico Toccacello. Unfortunately for the Italian rookie, it's unlikely that he's going to be able to score points today, but he has certainly shown that he is Formula 1 worthy, in my opinion.
He certainly has. That's an impressive impressive race so far for Enrico Toccacello. Still, you cannot really expect much from him. He still needs the category and everything, but he is doing kind of decently. Like you can expect more from the man that have qualified with Barrichello, but then again, Barrichello is kind of a low bar. He has been on the back foot in Ferrari, so still, I really hope that he does well enough. And hey, who knows? Maybe a seat is in order for him in the following years. Just maybe not with Ferrari.
Yeah, so how the United States Grand Prix works in this, 2003 saw the return of Watkins Glen, funnily enough, Gallifreyan, and it's been on it's going to be on a rotational system with what's the name? Indianapolis, which is the next round in this season. Then next season it's Watkins Glen again, and then for 2006 it's going to be decided on which track should be the main track of the United States Grand Prix. Who is leading the GP2 Championship? Currently, it's Heikki Kovalainen who leads that championship by 12 points ahead of Vitantonio Liozzi in second. Yeah. Clean was in the championship fight, but he has had a fairly horrible run of form. He's had no points in the previous 2 rounds, and Kovalainen has kind of just hit the ground running in the previous couple of rounds and has now got a 12-point lead. As Raikkonen has just gone past Mark Webber. I believe Raikkonen actually rejoined in front of Mark Webber following his pit stop. Webber must have gotten past Raikkonen impressively. And once again, looking towards the inside into the final chicane. Nearly contact between the two as they head through the final couple of corners. But Raikkonen just holds his nerve to stay ahead.
That could have ended really, really badly for Webber. But it's not over yet. It does seem like the Red Bull is slightly, just slightly quicker than the McLaren.
Especially on that heavy fuel load, that could be proving a sticking point for Mark Webber to keep with Kimi Raikkonen, as Furman here getting held up gravely by Scott Dixon, who is running in a lowly 16th position, as Renault calls Giorgio Pantano into the box at the end of this lap. Yeah, fortunately this version has the wall of champions extended a little bit, otherwise the AI would be into that wall every single lap.
Yeah, I just realised that. It could have been a mess right there, so thank God.
There goes Webber up the inside of Kimi Raikkonen, barges the championship leader out the way to move back up into 7th position. So Raikkonen is having a world of trouble here with, well, a plain old midfielder in Mark Webber in the Red Bull. Giorgio Pantano then, an 11-second stop.
That could really mean that he's going in for that could mean that's his last stop, so...
Yeah, definitely could be going to the end of this race on his fuel load, as there is Juan Pablo Montoya on the right-hand side. And who's going to rejoin in front? It's Montoya, the Colombian, in 4th. So Fisichella's now up into the podium places. So that 3rd place that he got in practice certainly seems like no fluke right now, as he's on course potentially for a podium. I think he still needs to stop though in this race, but right now he's on track at least in the top 3.
In the meantime, we have Barrichello there in no man's land. Too ahead of Barrichello. Barrichello, damn it, Toccacello. 2 behind Raikkonen. He's right in the middle of nowhere. The Brazilian driver, which, by the way, for those that just joined, he had a huge scare during qualifying. He was almost knocked out when there was like 15 or 11 minutes to go. heavy rain hit the track. No one else could improve. He could have been knocked out if he went out literally 1 minute later.
Yeah, Barrichello, in the nick of time, managed to qualify for the race, but only just. He managed to improve to P7, I think it was, by the end. Qualified still by Toccicello, which is a massive, massive scalp for him.
That would have been most definitely getting fired from your position there. You failed to qualify with a Ferrari. You're not built for Ferrari.
Yeah, most definitely. 30 laps to go then, and I've got to say, the only thing that can stop Michael Schumacher is probably his own car at this rate. 46 seconds in the lead he currently has over the rest of the field. Alonso in second has absolutely no response to the 5-time world champion, as there goes Montoya looking towards the inside of Fisichella. Can't find his way through on the Toyota. Furman, though, gets past Giorgio Pantano, so he's up into 5th. Webber once again past Kimi Raikkonen. I'm sure Raikkonen is getting sick of this at this point. He needs to be pushing on to try and catch Pantano and Furman ahead. And Montoya and Fisichella as well. There is points up for grabs here. And unfortunately for him, he's just unable to, because Webber just keeps being in the way. Has Webber had a pit stop yet? That's a good point. Webber has had a pit stop. He's had 1 pit stop so far. Raikkonen's had 2, and I think is due for another. So, I think this Webber-Raikkonen battle is for position, which may indicate why the Australian is fighting so hard to keep Raikkonen behind.
30 laps to go. Well done, you've just set the fastest lap of the race.
In the meantime, Schumacher, no one can catch him. Fastest lap of the race, 47 seconds ahead of Michael Schumacher. Fernando Alonso. Simply incredible race by the German driver. Man's just in another universe at this point.
That should be Tom Coronel into the box at the end of this lap. The BAR Audi test and reserve driver who's filling in for David Coulthard after he had a massive crash with Jarno Trulli just after the race at the Hungarian Grand Prix last time out, saw both Trulli and Coulthard out of contention. Massive shame for Trulli, who was actually kind of still in the championship picture after that race. Won the race, suspension failure over the line, gets crashed into, loses 2 races due to it, which is a bit of a shame for him. But Tom Coronel makes his debut, well, for this season at least. He previously drove for Audi in 2003, who ended up merging with BAR for 2004 after Lamborghini pulled their support from the team at the back end of 2003.
30 laps remaining.
And Schumacher told to box at the end of this lap. So,
I mean, it doesn't really matter anyway.
no, it probably doesn't. He's probably still going to rejoin about 30 seconds in the lead, but, you know, if there's a problem in his pit stop, maybe he could present Alonso with a chance. Who actually knows? As there, Montoya still can't find a way through on Fisichella. The BMW engine not really helping him in a straight line versus the Toyota of Fisichella, as the Italian remains in 3rd place. This would be a first podium finish of the season for Fisichella. Of course, Toyota already do have a podium this season, courtesy of Riccardo Sperrafico getting 2nd at Monaco behind Juan Pablo Montoya. That was one of the races of all time, probably one of my favourites to watch in this series to this point. And Schumacher into the box on the end of lap 43. So 27 laps to go at the end of this one. And it's looking fairly comfortable for a Michael Schumacher victory. 6th on the grid, didn't matter to him. In the lead after 13 laps and has not looked back since.
An impressive pace as well. That McLaren hasn't broken down yet. I don't know if it's going to be for Raikkonen or Schumacher, but the reliability on that car has finally kicked in.
There's still 27 laps to go.
Yeah, that's why I say it.
Yeah, we still await the
Schumacher has been nefariously bad. 2 DNFs in a row in Austria and Hungary. And then 3 in a row from Spain up to... what is it? God damn it. Silverstone. And that's where he stays for the moment. Why am I jinxing it, Shane? That's the funny part. For whatever reason, anytime I say it's too calm or something, a car breaks down. So I'm trying to bait it into happening again. But it turns out I'm not that lucky again.
Mark Webber then, in the intervening couple of corners, has just gotten past Giorgio Pantano. That's probably a reason why he's low on fuel and needs to box in the next couple of laps. He's actually on the back of Ralph Furman right now. So the driver who was potentially fighting for victory in the early stages, Ralph Furman, is now under pressure from Mark Webber, who has just found a godsend worth of pace at this current stage of this Grand Prix.
You're running first.
Yeah, do jinx it. Well, it does present some great moments, of course. Of course, most notably, Giorgio Pantano retiring from the lead on lap 62 from Monaco. That's contact there between Furman and Webber as Red Bull called the Australian into the box at the end of this lap. Raikkonen has overtaken Pantano in the background, meanwhile for 7th place in this race. As someone is off. Who is it? I think it was Villeneuve. As Webber makes his way into the box. I'm pretty sure Jacques Villeneuve just had a spin.
3. Okay. Did say sector 2. It has to be around here.
Oh, it wasn't him. Who was it then? Is it you? Who was it?
Maybe look someone in a fight. Oh, there it is.
No, that's sector 3. Oh, it is just that though. Okay. Yeah, sure. Great stuff there. Scott Dixon and Ralf Schumacher coming together. I don't imagine that should be a penalty necessarily though. Because, yeah. So the quiet before the storm. Mark Webber making his final stop in this race. 9-second stop. And he's got a good chance today of scoring points. Currently, neither Ferrari are in the points, which is an interesting tactic. If you want to win the Constructors, have both your cars outside the top 8. Certainly, I've never seen that sort of strategy before.
Also, I just want to say, reading some comments back again, I am happy that I have that I have a Time Lord vouching for the chaos there, Gallifreyan. That's good.
Yeah, unfortunately, we've never seen a Minardi podium in this, although we have seen an Arrows victory. Nicolas Minassian, 2001 Portugal, in...
Has lost his rear wing.
Oh,
And
Villeneuve.
Jacques Villeneuve's home race. Oh, that seems like a fairly big crash for Jacques Villeneuve. He's gone heavy into the wall there, down at turn 3, and a brake failure sees the end of Jacques Villeneuve's race. A home race curse continues for the 1997 world champion out from 14th place in this race.
That was a little bit late, but finally someone had another failure. I was expecting more here. And oof.
Oof. Heavy into the wall there, side on impact.
Yeah, that's the nasty accident right there.
Can we get like a better shot? Yeah, it seems there's absolutely nothing that Villeneuve really could have done about that one. Over he goes. Complete rollover of the car there. And Jacques Villeneuve out of the race then. Could be potentially injured from that one. We'll have to wait and see on his condition. But Mark Sinetti could be back. Oh no!
Get Kaneishi! Get Kaneishi into the Williams! Get Kaneishi!
I just want to, because I also write damage reports down and stuff like that, so I just want to write down what's damaged on his car.
Walled in the car. Do you want Williams to go down? Do you want Williams to go under, Benny? Is that what you want, mate?
Okay, there we go. Alonso has fallen down to 4th place, and Alonso's in the wall! 2nd place man in the fourth place man in the championship. Fernando Alonso out the race.
Brake failure again, another brake failure.
And this track has a notoriety of being difficult on the brakes. And another brake failure there. It's Fernando Alonso in the Renault, out of the race with 23 laps to go.
Not a good race for the pole sitter there. The Spanish driver right on that. Engine gone into the wall. Lighter accident that Bruno there, but that is out.
No, at most there for Jacques it'll be a short-term injury, but yeah. That means the battle for 2nd place lies between Juan Pablo Montoya and Giancarlo Fisichella. Here goes the Italian looking towards the inside of the Colombian into the final chicane. There's contact between the two, and Fisichella's gone round! Even more chaos! And Fisichella's lost a couple of seconds. He won't lose the place to Ralph Furman, but it's all kicking off here on lap 47.
That could have ended so much worse for Fisichella and or for Montoya. Super close call between those two.
In James's theories, yes, Mika Hakkinen is indeed dead in the 1992 series. In this series, though, he has just retired.
Wait. What do you mean he's dead?
He's dead.
What happened?
He's got a YouTube short about it.
Miss?
You should watch his YouTube short about it. He's dead.
I missed 2 races and we already have someone dead.
Oh, what was the last race that you watched?
Hell, I don't remember.
Because this happened early on in the season, like 3rd round or something like that, Mexico.
Oh, I wasn't there for the 3rd round. Fair enough.
Oh no, was it 3rd round? It might have been a bit later than that. Yeah, it happened earlier on in the season. So in this career mode, Mika Hakkinen is a 0-time world champion. Like 17-time race winner. He's like the best ever there ever was to not win a championship. Retired in 2002, called it quits, and that's it. So now we are looking at a potential battle for the podium between Montoya, Fisichella, Furman, and Raikkonen. Maybe even Pantano, so this could be a 5-way fight for 2nd place, perhaps, if Pantano can actually keep up the pace. I think he's on a 1-stop, isn't he? So let's actually check the pit stop strategies. Montoya's on a 0-stop? Yeah, he's just been on...
Is he gonna get disqualified if he doesn't?
No, he shouldn't be able to reach the checkered flag on the fuel.
I mean, GP2 has done it, and I think twice with Quizman on the whole deal in Sweden, so...
Yep.
Williams are ready in the pits.
Speaking of, he's going to be into the pits at the end of this lap. As is Giancarlo Fisichella in for his 2nd stop of the race. I'm pretty sure Raikkonen still needs to stop. I think Furman might need to stop as well. I think Furman and Raikkonen are on the same strategy, my guess. Pantano's definitely going to the end, though. That's why he's so slow in this race. Montoya, though, the Colombian, into the pits on the end of lap 48. Fisichella follows him in. That means Furman and Raikkonen will now move into the top 3. So this is a great day for McLaren. Of course, they sit 1 point short of Renault in the Constructors' Championship. As it currently stands, they would move ahead as further back. Well, that's a sight to behold. Enrico Torricello has just overtaken Rubens Barrichello for the final points place.
Well, it does seem like Torricello had something to say about his Ferrari seat. He's fighting for it.
He is indeed.
He really does want to join Formula 1 soon enough, and he's demonstrating it right now, overtaking his teammate Rubens Barrichello, who I would be surprised if he makes it into the grid in 2006.
Manassian getting past Sperafico for about the 16th time in this race. Probably will get overtaken once more as Mark Webber up in 7th. Fisichella 6th after his stop. Montoya 1 place further in front. Pantano is now up to 4th place. Raikkonen has just overtaken Ralph Furman into the hairpin for 2nd. So once again, with 20 laps to go, it's a McLaren 1-2. Maybe have power for the rivalry. Well, Scott Dixon has only been in... This is 3rd race in Formula 1 after Dan Weldon and Scott Dixon swapped in between Chip Ganassi and BAR. To be fair though, Sampas, Barrichello has been struggling. His career has been quite a bit different to real life. To be fair... He only barely got the Ferrari seat, to be fair, as a second driver to Jarno Trulli. In this career mode, he won 3 races for Stewart in 1999 and put an outside title fight in. But since then, 2000, beaten by Eddie Irvine. 01, beaten by Eddie Irvine. That was both at Jaguar. Moved to Renault, beaten by Alonso twice, and then moved to Ferrari this season, in which he won the 2004 Bahrain Grand Prix, which was his first win in 5 years. But since then, he's been fairly insignificant in terms of the championship picture, both in the drivers' and constructors' standings. And Jarno Trulli has kind of had to carry the weight on his back in this. He has got a 2-year contract, Rubens Barrichello, up until the end of 2005, but if anyone's going to get their hands in their pockets, Ferrari will do to take him out of that seat if necessary. Furman has gotten past Raikkonen once more down at the hairpin, and Raikkonen is unable to find his way through, so this, once again, is the battle between 2nd and 3rd in this race, with the Irishman just ahead of the Iceman of Kimi Raikkonen. Schumacher, though, still leading the way by 42.5 seconds as Furman is scheduled to box towards the end of this lap. There is a lot of law, indeed, yeah.
Darby, so the only thing about law that I can tell you to look out for is GP2. There's a team called Chimera Racing. Chief for that. Trust me. There's no reason why I would say this. Just trust me on that.
Bro's begging for a fan base for his own team. That's crazy.
Mate, I only have one. There's only one guy cheering for my team. Apart from myself. I need support. For God's sake.
Dams Lola.
Already in the pits.
And Furman is indeed into the box at the end of this lap. And Raikkonen is indeed overtaking Furman into the hairpin again. A lot of moves we have seen here today at the hairpin, and a lot of back and forth between drivers in this race. Can't say it hasn't been exciting.
Oh, Furman's looking for a move, I think. He's really close.
Yeah, Furman's into the pits though, so...
Oh, he's into pits. Oh, didn't see that one.
So this could be crucial for Furman in this race. A first podium is potentially on the cards in this Grand Prix. But he needs to drive like his life depends on it in this final stint. Pantano moves up to 3rd. I think Montoya will also move through. It could be close, though, between him and Giancarlo Fisichella on pit exit. An 8.3 second stop. Montoya's now down at turn 1. Fisichella now crosses the start-finish straight. And out of turn 2, Furman is going to rejoin in 5th. So he has got 9 seconds to catch up to Giorgio Pantano if he wants this podium. He's got 18 laps to do it, so he needs about half a second a lap advantage over Giorgio Pantano for the rest of this Grand Prix, and an overtake if he wants the top 3. That, of course, relies on no reliability problems either for anyone in front of him or himself, as Kimi Raikkonen is going to be into the box at the end of this lap, so that's going to promote Pantano up into 2nd. This could also be close fairly between him and Montoya, as Raikkonen could potentially get an overcut on Ralph Furman.
Also, I just want to say, Derby, so that's why I call it Chimera, because of the Resistance series. I really like those games, so I just said, we might as well.
This is a crucial stop then for championship leader Kimi Raikkonen. Into the box then on the end of lap 52. Pantano will easily move up into 2nd place in this race, but who will take the advantage between Montoya and Raikkonen? It's a slow stop, 9.5 seconds. I'll tell you what, I think Furman may have done enough to actually jump ahead of Raikkonen at this rate. down towards turn
yeah,
1.
he has. Yeah, he has.
It's going to be close
It's
between the
happened
two.
before.
And Raikkonen's going to go swooping down the outside.
Oh,
Furman
no.
was a little bit too steady on the exit of the corner and loses that place. So Raikkonen crucially out ahead of Ralph Furman. I am also one of those people, Derby saw, that I don't have a clue. I don't watch. Is it?
It's a video game. It's a video game.
It's a game. Ah, okay.
And it's a good one. I do recommend it. It's kind of old, but still has its charm. I do like it.
I'm not that big on my.
Myself though.
I'm not that big on my shooting games, to be fair. At least first. I'm assuming it's first person because
Yeah, first person. I think. Yeah, the last one I played was first person. So yeah.
Yeah, I'm not that big on my first person shooters because I'm no good at them. The only shooting game I really play is Fortnite from time to time.
I mean, I'm awful at any game I play, so I don't really care anymore.
Yeah. Well, I enjoyed playing the old map on it. So, if they didn't have the mode where they had the old map in, I wouldn't play it. But yeah, since they got the old map in it, I'll play it. Ferrari are ready in the pits for one of their drivers. I assume it to be Enrico Toccacello, which will put Rubens Barrichello. Unfortunately, yeah.
It is.
Yep.
And there it is, ladies and gentlemen. That is Ferrari sabotage right there. Knowing that their investment is going to be out of the points, they're calling the rookie.
Tom Coronel.
That is just... Oh, Coronel's suspension.
Coronel's out. Yep. And that's another retirement from this race, the 8th of this Grand Prix. And BAR's fairly mediocre race comes to a halt early, at least for Tom Coronel, at the side of the road. Suspension failure then for the Dutchman. Big shame, big shame.
Yeah, it's all good, Derby. So I did to start on easy and then go to harder levels. But now I'm trying to finish the first kill zone game with.
Oh, that's another one. Zonta's out the race from last place in this race. And the Boutsen is out of the race. Both Boutsens now out of the Grand Prix after Frisak stalled on the grid. And now we're now up to 9 retirements in this Grand Prix.
It really does seem like there was a technology swap over there, with Dams giving that suspension to everyone.
And there goes Sperafico up the inside of Nicholas Manassian. Never going to give you up, never going to let you down. The suspension sure has, though. Great words there from Ricardo Zonta, as Enrico Toccacello is now harrowing the back of Nicholas Manassian and Ricardo Sperafico with 15 laps to go.
Let's see what the Italian can do again. He had a good fight with Barrichello there until Ferrari called him in. Can he recover in time to at least score a P9 result in his first ever race in Formula 1?
I don't want to make anyone feel bad when I say I am younger than this game.
Nah, I am too, mate. I am too.
Furman nearly overtaken there by Giancarlo Fisichella into the hairpin there in the battle for 5th, maybe even 4th actually. Raikkonen's also just up there. Yeah, I purposefully edited all the radios to be a bit more funny. For example, they'll say the "Mine got Mustersign" line from Vettel's crash in Brazil, and then say "Bro isn't even German." So there's like a 10% chance that a German will say it, and they'll be called "Not even German," which is quite funny in itself. Adequately experienced, yeah.
I ought to learn how to do that, the custom messages on the radio. So I want to do that for 1990.
Yeah, we'll call it a talisman of life. Give it a good title, you know.
Anyways, Furman chasing down Raikkonen, who is trying to get away, but then Fisichella also spending a chance with Furman. This is all gonna go down with a good three-way fight between the McLaren, the Dams, and the Toyota, and it looks like the Dams is gonna make a move on the McLaren there. Down the inside, not quite yet, almost avoiding contact. Furman, who's done a really good race so far, he was P2 in the beginning. He was doing really, really well.
And
So now
now
let's see what happens.
I don't think he's going to be close enough to make a move into the chicane. I don't think it's really been an overtaking opportunity worth taking for a lot of these drivers. And as such, Ralph Furman not close enough to make that move. However, he has still got time to make this place. Saying that, he could have one less lap to do so if Michael Schumacher laps them before the end of this race. There is a decent opportunity for Michael Schumacher to lap everyone in this race. If that is the case, then you know what, fair play to him. He has been on absolute fire this weekend. Well, not even this weekend. His qualifying was fairly mediocre, wasn't it? It was out-qualified by Raikkonen. But time and time again, we have seen that Michael Schumacher's strength has never been really in qualifying, but more in the races. So if you expect to see him on pole position, then you expect to see him to win, really.
Also, I have to say that Sperfico has overtaken Minassian. No, damn it! I wanted to say Tocacello, but I looked at the wrong one. Ah! God! Never mind.
I mean, you were correct in the first
Never
place. Sperfico has got past Minassian and not Tocacello because Tocacello was already behind.
Yeah,
So you
I
were
just
right
got
in
the
the
names
first
wrong,
place
the
and then you
situation
corrected
happened.
yourself into being wrong.
Situation happened, my mic was wrong.
You need more retirements from 13th place upwards. How does Ralf Schumacher's penalty leave him? Down in 15th as it currently stands. So he'd be behind Heidfeld and Dixon, of course, with that 10-second time penalty. Justin Wilson also has a 5-second time penalty. So he'll fall behind his teammate after making a collision with his teammate as Manasseh now moves up into 9th place again, and we'll watch the War of the Roses once more for the wooden spoon of this race.
No! It's never the battle for Gibraltar or anything. It's never the battle of Lepanto. Because any time there's a Spaniard on track, there's an engine failure for one of them. This time it's both of them.
Justin Wilson defending his teammate Benoit Chalier here into the hairpin, going defensive on the inside line.
This is probably one of the better fights going on at the moment, apart from Furman, Raikkonen, and Fisichella.
I mean, Sperfico and Manassian keep just slipstream sharing, apparently.
Yeah.
I don't know how effective that is in this era of Formula 1, per se, but, you know.
Meanwhile, just Schumacher wondering where everyone else is at. He's just in another world, is he?
Yeah, look at that. 1.3, 1.4, 1.3 seconds faster than Giorgio Pantano in the previous 3 laps, as his lead now extends to over a minute with 11 laps to go.
Imagine it starts raining now.
I doubt.
That will be...
I don't think so.
Let's just put an hypothetical situation. We didn't think it was going to rain as well in Spain at Niels' thing, and look how that turned out.
I didn't watch that, to be fair, so...
Oh, you ought to. You ought to. It was. Oh my.
Furman looking towards the inside there of Kimi Raikkonen into the hairpin. Doesn't go for it again. Maybe a bit too cautious, or maybe he's trying to set up Raikkonen to be a bit more... Trying to figure out how he defends into corners when sending it. I feel like you're raging in dog years. Furman's trying every which way here to try and get through on Kimi Raikkonen, but it just does not seem to be working for the Irishman.
11 laps remaining.
Well, he still has some time, so I wouldn't risk him. I wouldn't risk it too much if I were Furman. He's still really close to Raikkonen, and even if Fisichella tries to make a move, he still has the fastest car on the straights and the turns, so still there. Let's see, Furman, he made a little move there, but nothing too substantial. as Raikkonen tries to put away. They're still really close. Fisichella now gaining up to third, and it's going to be a fantastic points results for the Italian.
Yeah,
who,
3...
remember-
Yep, go on. Sorry.
So, for those that are new here, Fisichella had a huge shunt in Suzuka last year, and up until Monaco, he couldn't race. So that's how big of a shunt it was. So seeing him back in P6 is absolutely perfect to see. He absolutely deserves it after that shunt. Fantastic race by Fisichella so far.
Yeah, Fisichella has been on quite a decent run of form. 8th place in Austria, 7th place in Hungary, and now he's on course for 6th place here today. So, by the time we reach... Is it the Japanese Grand Prix? Coincidentally, the Japanese Grand Prix at Suzuka, a year later after his crash, should be winning that race for in front of Toyota as well, so their home Grand Prix as well. It should all come together for Fisichella in Japan for him to win that race. Huge props as well to Juan Pablo Montoya, as that Williams just does not seem to be anywhere close to the front of the field in terms of its car's performance, but Montoya certainly pulls out all the stops to do so. We saw Jacques Villeneuve, we saw how good he has been in that Toyota at the early part of this season, and you know, he was down in 14th place before he retired, so for Montoya to be up on the podium, it would be an absolutely brilliant result for the Colombian, as somehow he's sticking with the front runners in terms of the Drivers' Championship. Probably won't be close to the title in terms of points, but I feel like the driver of the season so far has to go to Juan Pablo Montoya. And he's not even confirmed for a seat next season either, after Alexander Wirtz does have a contract for 05 with Williams, even though it is unsure whether he'll be back for the 05 season. And Jenson Button's also confirmed to be moving from Jaguar to Williams. So that leaves Juan Pablo Montoya without a seat, as buzzword, Sperafico has overtaken Manassian. Shouldn't rename the streams to F1 old people rants. Thank you, Sampas. Live championship standings. Kimi would be leading the championship by just 5 points ahead of Pantano. Trulli would still, surprisingly, be in 3rd place, though, as a non-finish for Alonso means that Michael Schumacher will also jump ahead of him.
I mean, Trulli's still a bit there because of his substitution getting shafted by Ferrari. He's going to be P11 after that pit stop. Oh, Barrichello is only going to score 1 point in P8. Not really the best defense of investment there.
This is absolute lap traffic right here for Giorgio Pantano as he gets past Felipe Massa and Justin Wilson. No, he will not. Montoya's all over the back of him.
Irrelevant.
Wilson's causing stuff. Wilson's making stuff happen. Wilson's causing championship implications. No, he's let Giorgio Pantano through now.
Yeah, but he's not letting through Montoya. Oh, now
He should get through there. There we go.
Now he is. Why? Why is it when I say it, dude? Why? Just hold on there and try and make Raikkonen catch up. Would be funny.
Yeah, so when I finish this stream, the plans are write out the news report for the Canadian Grand Prix weekend for this, write out the race report, do the damage reports for F1, do the damage report for GP2, and then I can get back onto doing the streamline. I was making the 93 streamline earlier for James's career. I want to get back into that. I like how it looks so far, the 93 streamline, although when people have seen it they don't seem like a fan, which is a bit of a shame.
Also, you're also allergic to auto expert. I'm allergic to, like, hell to olive trees pollen, which is incredibly common here in Spain, so yeah, that I can relate to that on a scale you cannot even imagine, mate.
Hello Daniel, welcome in. You've joined us right at the end of this Canadian Grand Prix. Michael Schumacher on course to take a dominant victory here. He's actually close to... He might get Pantano before the end of this race.
If he gets Pantano before the end of the race, I swear, something is illegal about that McLaren. Something has to be illegal from Saturday to Sunday. Like, how do you explain that?
It's just Michael Schumacher. It's just the Michael Schumacher effect.
The same
Oh, do you know what it
had
is? Do you know what it is? It's the Schumacher song Monte Carlo remix by DJ Visage playing in his ears for 2 hours straight. That's what makes him go fast.
I wouldn't be too surprised if
He's
it's
just got
that,
Schumacher.
And then- Yeah, exactly.
How did I do these timing tables? I kind of... it's the F1 Challenge Live UI plugin. And I edited it, so I... yeah, to make it look... like how I wanted it, basically. The Euroborg, which is in the top right, is a homage to Eurosport. And is not part of the plugin. I can turn it off. There, it's just a thing I put on the stream.
I should probably do something for my 1990 series as well, but I don't know what to do.
Tocacella's got past Manassian. That was
Damn.
nearly a crash there between Webber and DME. Okay, so Tocacella's passed Sperifico and Manassian. But he's got 16 seconds to make up to his teammate in 5 laps, so that's unlikely to happen. As, oh my word, what is happening here?
Traffic!
Furman's got past Fisichella. I think the two have just been battling behind this absolute calamity of cars.
There is traffic! Blue flags, blue flags!
I think this is all just going to stop Michael Schumacher from actually lapping everyone in this race. What's on Euroborg after this? Euroborg presents F3 Euro Series on Tuesday at 6 or 7 p.m. British time, which is... what? What's the middle one again? UTC +1, isn't it? I think it should be. British summertime. So, yeah. That should be the next stream. That's only on my Discord, though, because it takes ages to set up. It's annoying. 4 laps, though, for Michael Schumacher. The World Touring Car Championship. Montoya's caught up to the back of Pantano here.
There's 3 laps to go, so it's... yeah, I think it's safe to say that Schumacher's gonna win the Grand Prix, but P2 is still on a fight between Montoya and Pantano.
Never say never, though. There still could be a race-defining moment for Michael Schumacher in this Grand Prix. The next car for him to lap in this race is Kimi Raikkonen, who's just a couple of seconds up the road.
Would be fun if Barrichello now gets an engine failure or something. Like, yeah, so much for getting protected by Ferrari. But at the moment, it's going to be points for Fisichella, Furman, Webber, well, not in that order, of course, but the top 3 is that already defined because Raikkonen is still 3 seconds behind Montoya, and I don't really think he can cut up 3 seconds in 3 laps, no.
No, I feel like Raikkonen's been fairly mediocre throughout this Grand Prix, to the point where he's fallen behind cars that he probably shouldn't be fighting, in all fairness. Welcome in, by the way, Mr. Ninja Fish. You've joined us right at the end of this exciting Canadian Grand Prix. Nicholas Manassian's just gone past Enrico Tocacella for 9th, but this is a battle right now between Pantano and Montoya for the 2nd position in this race. This would be crucial for Raikkonen if Montoya got past Giorgio Pantano, of course, in the championship picture. Well, going a bit wide there, the Colombian. That's going to cost him any chance of a run in towards the hairpin. We've seen a lot of overtakes here, but yeah, 5 tenths back is not going to be enough for the Williams driver to make a move. We're going to crash now that I've said that. Well, we would see a Ralph Furman podium, which would be kind of cool. All I know about mechanical failures in Canada is just wait until the last corner and wait for Bertrand Gachot to have a brake failure into your teammate while you're watching him get his first ever career podium.
3 laps remaining.
94 Canada moment. Fortunately though, Wendlinger was able to keep all 4 wheels on his car and just about limp across the line ahead of Philippe Alliot in the McLaren.
Damn.
Tocacello again, past Manassian, but we don't really care about that at this current stage. We're focusing on this battle for second, and Montoya's got a brilliant run out of that chicane and into turn 8 now. He's going to be able to get a good exit. That's a better exit than previous lap, and will he be able to go for a move towards the inside? Pantano needs to defend this inside line, but he's not done it. Montoya's up the inside. And on the penultimate lap, no, this is lap 68, sorry, so 2 laps after this, and Montoya's up to second. So, can the Renault retaliate? Or will it be too little too late for the Renault? This could be an extra point going in the way of Raikkonen's championship challenge as Fisichella and Furman battle side by side into the chicane. There's contact between the
They're
two.
almost into the wall. Still really close down into turn 1. Let's see what Pantano can do. He's getting close, not close enough. I think he's going to stay behind. That's Montoya with P2 at the moment, but Pantano's hard on his heels.
Michael Schumacher entering the final lap of the race. But we don't really care about that right now. No, I don't think he's going to get close enough. He's going to come close, but not close enough to actually do it. Montoya given driver of the day. I'd say Michael Schumacher, honestly. He's just been leagues above everyone else today. Yeah, Michael's only there, so... Can Montoya, though, hold off Giorgio Pantano? There's only 2 more opportunities down at the hairpin for Pantano to get through, and Montoya needs to defend them both if he wants to keep this second position in this race. Montoya on the outside, Pantano towards the inside. He breaks later, the Italian. There's contact between the two. Montoya just about keeping it pointing in the correct direction, and Giorgio Pantano is going to be able to not get past him down at the hairpin. Meanwhile, we focus our attention to this man right here. Dominant since he took the lead on lap 13, started 6th on the grid, sived his way through the field, has said nothing else since, and towards the end of this race, he has just been unstoppable. Michael Schumacher across the line then to take another victory in this 2004 season.
Good race by Michael, dominant from start to finish. What a drive he pulled.
Fisichella will just about hold off Ralph Furman in the battle for 5th place in that race, so a good race for him as he gets his best result of the season so far. But can Montoya hold off Giorgio Pantano? He's got 1 opportunity left, the Italian, to make this move work. Raikkonen is also there if either one of these two crash into one another and make a mistake. Pantano going for the move into the chicane, not going to be able to, but it's a decent-ish exit out of the chicane, and towards the hairpin now. Will he be able to go for a move, looking towards the inside? Juan Pablo Montoya kind of leaving the door open there. There's more contact between the two. Pantano's going to try and shove his way through, but out the exit of the corner, Montoya's got the advantage. Now down towards the final chicane. Can Pantano find any way through? He's going to gain closer and closer. 2/10 becomes 1/10 into the final chicane. It's going to be so close. He needs to outbrake him into this final corner.
He's gonna do it.
There's contact between the two. And Pantano goes spinning round. Pantano goes spinning round. But it's going to be enough for Montoya to take 2nd place in this race. Brilliant defending there from the Colombian as he finishes in 3rd place. Giorgio Pantano. Raikkonen will opt to retire in the pit lane. But what a race that was between Montoya and Pantano at the end of this race. A fantastic race for Schumacher as well in the championship, and a fantastic race for McLaren. Raikkonen will have his championship at the front closed up by a singular point by Giorgio Pantano. Fisichella more points on the board for him, with Furman, Webber and Barrichello down in 8th place, nearly beaten by his teammates, who finishes 9th on his debut. A great race for him in that Ferrari. Nicolas Manassian completes the top 10. Sperrifico in 11th. Massa in 12th. Ralf Schumacher will fall down to 14th behind Nick Heidfeld after his 10-second penalty. Then comes Scott Dixon in 15th. Trellier will fall behind. No, he'll stay ahead of his teammate Justin including Wilson, because Wilson's the one with the penalty. We had 17 drivers reaching the checkered flag with 9 retirements. Why is Kimi retired? Because if they're close to being lapped, then they just retire a lap early. It's fine. He'll go down as 4th place. It's fine. So that's how it works. It's a bit of a weird system, but it's fine. It doesn't affect the race result in any way. 17 drivers finished the race and 9 retired from the Grand Prix. Tom Coronel late on with a suspension failure. Both Bootsons out. Both Opals out in the first lap as well, as Alonso retired earlier on with a suspension problem. Jacques Villeneuve out with a brake issue. Sato out, I believe, with an engine issue, I believe it was. Pitsonia also retired from that Grand Prix. An exciting one, and I'm glad that you all joined us today for that Grand Prix. Any words from that Grand Prix, Jose?
That brought me back from the rut I was at, honestly. That was quite the good run. Impressive by Schumacher. P6 to P1 and dominating afterwards. That is just hats off. And yes, Daniel, you did hear Opel. Really good race by Montoya, Montoya and Pantano. Right down to the line. Simply beautiful from them. And Tocatello, really impressed by the Italian there in P9. Really decent for a first race start, and with Ferrari as well, almost catching up to his teammate. Really, really good. Really happy for him. Not much I can say apart from that, honestly.
And if you did enjoy that, I will get it in a moment because for some reason it's fallen out of my clipboard, which is brilliant on my phone. So if you are interested, excited to see more, be sure to like the stream and subscribe. That has been all from us today in the Canadian Grand Prix. Next stream should be on my Discord on Tuesday. 94 Portugal will also be out within the next couple of days as well. As what is happening? Why can't I send that? Autofill. Brilliant. Oh, there we go. Yeah, there we go. And if you want to join the Discord, finally, the link works. Be sure to join that as well. That's going to be all from us in today's stream, and goodbye.